conflict, but that's the type of stuff I was dealing with. Hey, Coconut.
Yeah, they'll. Well, I'm not saying they because I don't have that lot of experience with dealing with the community, but I say they as in people. They'll try to use whatever kind of insults to try to it will try to throw you off. It'll try to make you. It'll try to humble you, basically to try to strip your confidence away. Because even when people know what they're talking about, if somebody can take the confidence from them,
Mm-hmm.
then they can have that power over them in whatever the conversation or the debate or the argument is. So that happens a lot, but
Yeah.
shit.
You are exactly right. It was trying to take my confidence. Yeah, LJ. Oh, LJ, I didn't know you was here. Yeah, that was crazy. And I'm gonna play some clips too, but yes, Ram, like I ain't trying to drag you into the fire. I ain't trying to do
My
that.
page done got hit twice this week, but I don't care. Fuck TikTok shop. They be all right.
Yeah, right, right. But yeah, they tried to shake it. They can't shake it. It's just sometimes you gotta give them what they be asking for. They be wanting to get they want to treat this like it's a show all the time. But the reason why I thought it was important to have this conversation is because of the misogyny aspect of it. I think that we haven't. Oh yeah, you was look. Jill, I saw your comment. I was like flustered. But like I was so glad that I wasn't the only one. I knew I wasn't tripping, but they were wild. Like they were wild. It was so many parts from last night where they was like literally gaslighting me in full stop. Like it was crazy. It was crazy. Yeah. Hey Tara.
Hello. How you doing?
Doing good,
What
Tara.
up? What up?
Um, so let me. So okay. So I was thank y'all for the gifts. I appreciate that. I wasn't doing too much, but I watched the documentary called Queen at Heart. It came out in 1967. I had seen Paris is Burning. And both of those are very insightful, interesting documentaries. I recommend both of them. And it's a newer one, I think in 2016 called Kiki. I could be mistaken. But Queen at Heart is very, very jarring to hear. Um at that time before it was I don't want to say modernized, but before it was really as accepted as it kind of had started to be in the 90s with Paris is Burning. It was interesting to see how those women were living their lives. And what I learned is that a lot of those women went to drag as a way to exist because, again, it was very, very difficult. It was one woman who was sharing her story and she was talking about she had just started hormones and she was speaking about her brother. Like they asked, like, how do you think your family would feel? She was saying that she lives a double life, and then she thought if her brother were to find out, he would unalive her. And she was trying to, without the language that we have today, was trying to describe the difference in like being a gay man versus being a trans woman. She just didn't have the right language for that time and who she was speaking to, because they didn't give a fuck. They was doing an experiment on something else. But I thought that was interesting. But then in that same documentary, what was shocking to me is one of the women was describing um her envy towards women because they were able to dress and exist in a way that she couldn't. And I just thought that was interesting. So after looking at that and hearing the language, I was like, okay, there's a deep rooted thing there's something deeper going on that I don't think has ever been talked about. And I said this last night, the reason why the conversation about misogyny don't come up is because those people were existing in a box. They was existing in bondage of not being able to be who they wanted to be. And that was the only thing they were concerned about. They wasn't thinking about how stepping into this new existence came with other other issues, or how them living the way they were living, because they said it was a double life, would affect them coming into the new existence they was walking into. And I don't know what's so hard about talking about that. I don't know what's so hard about if there is a time where people are not allowed to express themselves and be who they want to be, and they are conditioned and socialized to be a certain type of way, and the only view or experience they get from the identity that they feel relates to them more is from like a voyeur, from like it's like they are viewing it on the outside. I don't want to say voyeurism. They're viewing it on the outside. They're not able to participate within it because it's taboo. So they have to have an underground of participating in it. And if they're not connecting with the people who get to live the experience they want to live, why is it so difficult to believe that they might exaggerate, or they might unintentionally be mocking what they think they're seeing? Again, we're in a society that tells us that it's okay to abuse and harm women. We're in a society that tells you it's okay to hate women. We're in a society where thank y'all, where they are constantly mocking and making fun of women, and you're living the lived experience as the gender that's participating in that. So what's wrong with talking about your view of what being a woman is would be in the lens of men who don't respect women, and you try to make the best of what you knew. So you exaggerate your makeup, you exaggerate the way you dress, you exaggerate what glam is, you exaggerate what hair is, you exaggerate what being Marilyn Monroe is, you exaggerate it. Not necessarily because you want to pick fun, but because you're operating from a lens that is on the outside of what that lived experience is. So that's what I wanted to talk about. So I don't know why it was so difficult to get there, but that was my point. But Tara, I don't know if you want to speak to that or not.
Yeah, I think cause I even think I like the it's interesting because like as a woman you understand people gonna have a comment on like how you present anyway. Like I understand the misogyny of it, I understand like the caricature of it, but it's like for us to say that like womanhood in itself is a performance, the way it's presented in society, the way like we talk about manhood being a performance, and to be like, well, like that's the conversation women are talking about. So to be like, oh no, that's not what that is over here. It's like, how could it not be? Like you don't. It's not an exemption. Like
Mm-hmm.
everybody's falling in line. You're falling for the same trap, and it's like, no, you can't. You can't say anything about that. This is how I define it, and that's just what it is. Like, no, we all live in this gender binary, and we are trying to like assert who we are as people, and we are falling for the conformity that's tied to the gender we are assigned or the gender that we identify with. And it's just interesting because it's like, well, in this space there could be no criticism. Everywhere else, criticism. Everybody else, criticism. But in this space there could be no criticism, and that's closed minded.
Right, and I agree, and I do think that manhood is, because I see Mr. Blanco said that manhood is an performance, but the difference is like the performance isn't no, it is a performance. That ain't what I'm saying. I'm not denying that at all. But because being a man or being male is a privilege, it doesn't get what's the word, policed as much, right? Even though it is rigid, even though it is very strict, and it has to be. Manhood or masculinity has to follow this strict formula, and it has to be, people have to get their hand popped, so to speak, because it's so fragile that they have to keep it rigid for it to be able to withstand. And I think that being a woman or femininity or whatever gets to be so flexible because of the resilience one has to have to live that experience. To live the experience, how at whatever side you're on it, you have to have some type of resilience, right? So I would extend that to any group that falls into the femininity. But that's the thing. Whenever you can redefine something and make it what you want it to be and not account for other people who haven't experienced, that's the problem. So if we can't have the conversation about how a group of people who are marginalized, and maybe they wanted to rebel against what the patriarchy was. And I think that's what a lot of it was. I don't think all drag queens in the 60s were trans women who just had to exist how they wanted to. I think some of those drag queens were rebelling against the patriarchy because they wanted to, because they did not align with the rigid rules of it, and that was a way to rebel. And I don't necessarily think there's nothing wrong with that until you get to the part where we can't talk about it. That's when I'm like, whoa, we got to be able to talk about it. So talk to me.
It's not that we just can't talk about it. It's like, it's criticism. It's like, well, this conversation, because here's the way I'm saying, what I was trying to say is like, if you're saying that, woman's an umbrella term and we're all women, right? And we're telling you that, okay, this is what women talking about. And I come to you as a woman to have this conversation and you shut me down. There's something real, is something real. I'm going to do a play on words and say there's something real fishy. That's crazy. About that, because it's like, why are you saying we can't talk about it? And now, and not only that, it's this competition. Like, hold up, why are you competing for it? And it's like, that's what I'm saying. Like, you can't just say you just a woman, because like it's more to it than that. It's more to it. You gotta take the criticism too. You also a pick me. You're a pick me now. You acting like a pick me. You say you're a woman, fine, you're a woman, but you also a pick me and you're male centered. You hella male centered.
Right.
And now you don't want to talk about that part.
Say it again.
And that's the part. Like, whoa, why we can't talk about, if this is what women are talking about? Why can't I come to you and have this conversation?
And I think I think in my personal opinion, I think the reason why we can't have the conversation is because the unpacking of the entitlement is not happening. Yeah. Like, and black men have it too. We talk about how black men have this sense of entitlement as well. So this idea that certain people, because of their certain experiences, can't have effects of it is mind-boggling, right? We're talking about, cisgender women can't have this conversation because we're taking offense of a word that isn't offensive because I say it ain't offensive. And even though I'm a black woman, you're telling me that there's a privilege, cool. Then you have to accept that there is certain privileges that you may have. And if you are a man who is have male privilege and you're doing drag and you're saying terms like fish and cunty, no matter who you're saying it to, you got to be able to accept that you have a certain privilege where you feel like you can do that. It's not your word to reclaim, but you feel privileged to do it. So I think that if we can't talk about the entitlement and how the patriarchy socializes certain people, then yeah, like they get to shut down the conversation, because who the fuck are we?
Is that choice when you say it's not a word that, like, you don't get to reclaim a word? That's a slur, not a slur against you. When it's like, that was the point I was trying to make yesterday when I said comparing it to the N word. That's simply white people using it, and it's like, oh, that's not the same. That's not the same. And they're like, why is it that when you draw a parallel to misogyny with racism, all of a sudden, like, oh, it's an overreaction. It can't be the same thing. Like, this serious, but what you saying not
right. And that's what I was thinking. So I was looking at I had looked, because I asked AI. So this ain't me. I was asking AI, like, what are some dehumanizing or minimizing terms that often used about T women? And I don't want to say them because of the offense to it, but a lot of these terms I think originated because of how people, because of the offense to it, but a lot of these terms I think originated because of how people view like drag queens, right? They viewed them as like putting on a costume and dressing up, and then it took trans women to say, no, this is not what's going on, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But a lot of these words came from that idea, and they wanted it stopped. And that's understandable, right? And so that's understandable that you don't want your identity to be reduced to your autonomy. In the same way that women don't want their
Yeah,
identity
that
reduced to that. It's the same thing.
yeah.
I know we got somebody coming up. Hello, how are you?
How are you doing?
Doing good.
How are you? I'm doing good too.
That's good. You want to speak on the prompt? You could pick one, or you could speak on all of them.
So ballroom. I grew up in the ballroom scene at 10 years old. I
Hmm.
was in the house of princess.
How old are you now? And could you
I'm
tell me, like,
twenty-seven. Huh?
what's your geographical location? Was it on the East Coast, like New York,
Oh,
or
New York City, baby. I'm from New York.
okay, New
I'm
York?
from
I thought so. Okay,
right. I'm from New York City, but I was in New Jersey for a while with my house of Jordan.
okay.
But I started off with Tim Princess. You probably don't know who he is, but he's a big ballroom father.
Hmm.
You see, I transitioned at the age of 10 because my parents couldn't take care of me. I had 8 siblings in an apartment of 2 bedrooms.
Hmm.
And my parents put me on the streets.
Was were you transition? You saying you
I,
was a
I
trans
was a trans
woman,
kid,
a trans kid? Okay, so
and my parents couldn't deal with me, so they threw me out.
okay, so I've heard about that. That a lot of times, like within the ballroom community, outside of the actual ballroom, there's just a lot of families because they have to help the youth. And in your situation, you just describing that. You describing that you are a product, for lack of better terms, of that. You experienced that
It's like
firsthand.
a surrogate
Right.
family.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Yeah.
when I joined the House of Princess, I was forged. Like, because, back before, like, I came in 2008.
Mhm.
So before, really, like, I would say 2012, you could get away in New York City with forging documents.
Mhm.
And that's how I live with my father, Tim Princess. And well, let me talk about ballroom in general, because womanhood and all that.
Mhm.
So when it started off in the 30s, ballroom that we know, well, not that we know it today, but ballroom in a sense,
Mhm.
was the first sense of drag balls. New York City started that too.
100 years. Yes. Over 100 years old. Yep.
Right back in the 20s and 30s, ballroom was created. And we had major drag balls of Latinos and Black people. No
Yeah.
white people stole it from us.
So the thing that I saw, they said that they were doing it, but you saying it was the opposite. Gotcha.
Wait, who said they were doing
That
what?
was I watched the documentary. I'm not saying I believe it because I know they reinvent history all the time. I'm just saying the documentary I saw that talked about it going back 100 years ago. It wasn't any black people or Latino ex people. It was YT people.
And that's what they want you to think.
I thought that was interesting. Yeah, no, I believe you with that
That's how they whitewash history. A
because the
lot of things.
language doesn't even make sense. The language doesn't make sense.
Right. We
Hmm.
started all the surgeries within the ballroom scene, all in the 40s and 50s. We started all the breast augmentations as trans drag queens. So let me get into womanhood, right?
Hmm.
The overstimulation of dramatic womanhood, like
Hmm.
the overstimulatic, like double 38D, double D's, and the hips, unrealistic things.
Hmm.
Because no woman has that. I mean, trans women have, but no female has that.
Hmm.
It's impossible. Nobody's born like that. So like it was entertainments during, let's say, around the First World,
Hmm.
and that's really how it started. A lot of DL men during World War I would go to drag balls and they would watch drag queens, and it was entertainment, right? That's what they wanted to see. But it was also like the first representatives of trans people because we didn't know how to transition back then fully to the extent that we can now. So the womanhood that we had back then was all we could get because surgeries was they didn't really like trans people back then, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
It was often in France you would find a trans drag queen where they would do augmentations on her, but where drag originated in New York City,
It was experimental. The term.
experimental,
Mm-hmm.
right? You could not be trans, never openly. So when I say womanhood, like I feel like it took womanhood, right? Like like the bodies. Oh, no, I don't want to say that because it sounds like because drag was misogynistic when it first started off.
Right, but
Well,
so,
actually, no,
so let
actually,
me
no,
ask
no,
you
no. Wait, let me
something.
get. Actually, no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. Now it's misogynistic.
No, no. I think it. Hold on. I think it's been misogynistic, but let's get a framework. The misogyny, probably when it started off, was very much overt. I think now it's subtle because it has moved. Because sometimes as we progress, things just transition, right? And I don't know if it might not be an intended misogyny, right? But it's still there. So I think it started off being intentional. Because like you said, if that's what DL men wanted to see, that's through the lens they want to see it through, because they view women the way women are and the way women speak. They viewed it like men will hear women speak or ask them something, or make a suggestion or say, hey, I don't like when you do that. And they say that women are nagging. They don't even hear the cadence in our voice. They don't hear the temperament of our voice. They always think that we're yelling and nagging and being over exaggerating the way we speak. So I can definitely understand a man wanting to see an exaggerated form of a woman that he hear in his head. So that's why I think it started that way. And as time progressed, I don't think it was the forefront of it. I don't think people are actively being misogynistic. I just think that it's so deep, and if we don't talk about it, we won't eradicate it. You get my point? That's my
Right.
okay.
Yeah, my question, if I could ask you a question, why do you think the features are so exaggerated? Like, why do you think the reason for that is?
Because it started off as a show. But it's exaggerated now. I would say really after you do you know who Divine is?
Mm-mm.
The after you do you know who Divine is?
Mm-mm.
It's a white drag queen. She unalive
What
me.
year?
She was around the late 60s and the 70s up until 1985.
Okay. What year?
She was around the late 60s and the 70s up until 1985
Okay.
when she unalived. She was very over. Well, she was a bigger person.
I think I know you're talking about. I ain't know the name. Okay.
But well, she was a bigger person.
I think I know you're talking about. I ain't know the name. Okay.
But he used to wear hip paddings that went
Mhm.
to like imagine like a like those like little pull out tables in hospitals,
Mhm.
about that big, about that wide. Imagine like a like those like little pull out tables in hospitals,
Mhm.
about that big, about that wide. It
Mm.
on both sides, and the breasts would be 38 double D's. That's when it really started getting misogynistic. I would say the late 60s, early 80s.
Okay.
Be 38 double D's. That's when it really started getting misogynistic. I would say the late 60s, early 80s.
Okay.
Because
Which
well,
is where
with
the
the
term fish came
actually,
from.
let me tell you something. The white tea were misogynistic. When the BLK people were doing it, they weren't being misogynistic. The BLK people were not competing like that. The BLK people were competing in the regular bodies, just makeup.
So let me ask you this. So let's say that in the 60s, the word fish was used derogatory by YT men, and then maybe drag YT men started using it, and then, or might have said it, but uh, black drag, um, black drag queens, because we're so good with our words and the reads and the way we quick on our feet, maybe they co-opted it and flipped the meat, like flipped it to be something else. Like,
So, Fish actually started off in the 70s with a black man.
okay, so it was a black
And
man.
he
Okay.
was a black JY man, and he was a part of the ballroom scene. He was a part of the House of Dupree.
Okay.
And when he said fish, he didn't mean it as a slur. He meant it as like, it started off as being shade. Like, shit. Have you ever seen Paris is Burning?
I did. But I seen it a long time ago. I was gonna rewatch it today, but I ended up watching Queen and Heart instead.
Right. Okay. So I've watched all because it's my community, right? Like I
Right.
watched at a young age. So the House of Dupree started all of these lingos. LaBeija and Dupree started all of these lingos.
I know those names. Yes, I
Right.
know. I remember those. Yeah.
Crystal LaBeija and you have Devon LaBeija up on your
Hmm.
screen right there. The two girls at the top from the
Hmm.
'60s. That's
Yeah,
Crystal
those.
LaBeija.
Yeah, they from the '60s. I didn't put the '90s on here.
Right. The '90s. Okay. The '90s was a good time for us in a
But
way
you no,
because
but you can explain that. I'm sorry, it's because I'm interested about because you said it's shade because
oh
somebody
yeah.
else said that too. So I was curious.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
okay, so fish came from shade because like when you're being shady, and that's another lingo from us, shading. When you
Hmm.
shade somebody, well, reading came from shade,
Yeah. So those the same thing. Okay.
right?
That's y'all community. Got
Well,
it.
yeah, reading is when you're coming after. It's like the beginning of insults. Like you can't read anybody outside of your community. It just be insults if you're reading somebody. You have to read somebody in the LGBTQ to be a read.
Mm-hmm.
But when we say fish or fishy, we didn't mean that. We didn't really take that. We meant fish because, men were calling y'all fishy because, like the bottom was, it was misogynistic for women who didn't clean. They would say it
Mm-hmm.
smelled like fish or fishy. It smelled fishy. And that's where the misogynistic came. When we said fish meant that you look like you were botched in the face. Like you were femme queen, like moaned out. Like I'm gonna show you a picture. I have a girl named Lola. I knew her person. Her name was Lola Abani. She had like these, because in the '70s and '80s, we were getting our cheeks done, we were getting our lips done, we were getting our eyelashes. Everything was getting done in the like our bodies were maxed out. We had silicone everywhere. Silicone that was the years of silicone, the '70s, '80s, and '90s, and 2000s, and but '70s was dramatic silicone, and that's why we started calling girls fish. The trans girls were getting their bodies done crazy. So, like when they puff up, like when your body's puffed, your face, your chin, your cheeks, when you get all of that done, you're gonna look like you're not gonna look human. You're gonna look like a fish. You're gonna have plump cheeks, plump lips, small, juicy plump lips. You're gonna have a big plump body. You're gonna look like a fish. That's where fish came from. But then we turned it, but really in the '90s, the late '80s, '90s, we turned around and made it into a better term for girls, saying you look pretty. Like basically how we use doll. You're fishy, you're door, you're pretty, you're giving con. That's how we use it now. But the original term was misogynistic to trans women, saying that we looked a certain way. Because I'll tell you something. Back in the early days, back in the '70s and '80s, GAY men did not see us as trans women. They see us as two-step verifications to GAY men. And they still do. When I was in the scene, they see me as that. And that's when they started coming up with those words to come after us. Our own community, yes. BLK,
So
LGBTQ,
wait, so
blah,
you're
blah, blah.
saying GAY men flipped it to being like at y'all saying like, oh, you're a giving real woman.
Right. So no, not that, not that. I'm saying, like, when they started it, it was a slur towards trans people, right? But then they
Oh.
realized that it wasn't okay. Like, that, because, they matured. Like, all these people matured. They were like, well, we see them as a woman now, so why call them fish and make them seem like they're less than us and make them seem like they're women? So they took the word fish and made it into something better, like calling us dolls, like we're pretty, like we're fish. Like it's like a like the lingo, like AAV has like our own lingo, like oh girl
Hmm.
you're T, oh girl you're pretty. Well, that's also trans, but
Hmm.
we African American lingo came around with trans lingo. That it spread, the word spread, so everybody
Hmm.
really uses trans lingo now.
Cause
But
somebody, so I heard a trans woman say that trade and fish was used to talk about people who are trading fish without them knowing. So that's why I was confused because like the way you describing it,
who said that?
um, I don't want to say no names because I don't want to get my live
Is
messed
they
up.
from New York City?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I don't
So
know.
that's what I thought was weird because I know I'm understanding that trade means a DL man, which I thought trade came from New Orleans. So I'm shocked about that. But trade meant a DL man.
It came from Newark, New Jersey, Newark,
No,
Elizabeth,
that
New
no, I
Jersey.
believe no. Trust me, I believe you. I'm just saying,
Right.
I'm used to hearing it in Louisiana, and I thought it was specific to that culture until I started realizing it wasn't. They co-opted it, which makes sense. I get it, but when they said trade and fish are terms that are survival terms used to talk about those who are trading fish, I thought it was interesting because I know trade to mean down low man. So what does fish mean then? Cisgender woman, and that's what was weird.
Yeah, and I think also when you talk about like trying to take a derogatory term and make it something more positive, the thing is, it's not that it just replaces the word. Now the word has more meaning to it. Because some people are still going to use it in a derogatory way. And then it becomes the thing like, okay, so how do I know the difference?
Right. But like, I just feel like when we use that word to like talk about trans women, you know, like we BLK trans women and Latino and Latinas were not fighting for the rights. Well, we were, but we were fighting against GAY men because, you know, back then we were seen as them. We were seen as mentally ill. We were getting checks for being mentally ill. Keep that in mind. And we did use words, we did use DL and trade as survival words. I mean, I'll give that to them. We did. Because, I mean, my house mother, well, my house grandmother would talk about it because they were both from the 90s and 80s. She talked about it all the time. They did use DL and trade as survival words because we had to use words without getting harmed. Because back in the day, being DL in trade was like being you would be your family would disown you. Well, it depends on the person. If you came from a BOK or Latin family, they would disown you 100%. They would kick you out or disown you, just put you out like, no, you're not doing this in my house. Just wait, you got to get a new house and you can do all that. You're not doing that here. And from my time of being in the system of, you know, doing that with DL and trade men for 14 years, ever since I was 14 years old, I would say those are survival words. Even today they are. Men who are trading DL don't want to be disclosed because it hurts them. Because majority of DL and trade men have family and kids. And
Okay,
if
so I wanted to play something for you when you were speaking. I'm sorry, I was listening
oh
to you, but I
yeah.
was trying to look for something to play for you because I wanna share with you what we were told because you're giving a very insightful perspective of it, and I appreciate the honesty. Because I've been being gaslit, and I said all what you said. Of course, you gave more information that I just didn't have, and you're giving more to it because you know more. I do not know what you know, but I want to play this real quick. So hold on. My trans is that can I answer? Yeah. So just from what I gather from my trans sisters is that upon like they use fish because fish are typically beautiful.
Is that Darion?
What I gather from my trans sisters. Decepticon?
Is that Darion? Like
My
Ray
ex,
Ray?
I don't know.
He is a trans man, right?
Yeah.
Oh girl, that's Darion. I know who that is. He got
yeah,
all of
that's
his
my
information
ex.
from me. No shade.
Now he's
Um,
selling his shit. That's crazy.
No shade. No shade. Because when I was around December, I was telling him all about the ballroom scene. Because he was kind of, well, he wasn't new to it. He just didn't know a lot about it. He just knew it was about voguing and walking. I tried to explain to him about where the original terms come from because I'm educated on that because I have firsthand
knowledge.
education on it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I knew girls who knew, I knew girls who knew Marsha P. Johnson. I knew girls who knew Crystal LaBeija. I knew girls who knew all these. I knew girls who knew Harlow. I know girls who knew the girls in Queens. The show, the documentary we just watched.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm a part of the scene, and I was raised by I was raised by Yolanda Jordan. Her mother was Sanaya. Sanaya's mother was Tim Princess. Tim Princess is my father at first, but Tim Princess, his father was the grandfather of Vogue, and
Yeah, like
he.
but if I were to like to sum up, because I'm gonna because I appreciate you and I want to hear what Angie has to say too. Then you can say something else. But if I was to sum of what you said, like, there is room for us to talk about the misogyny within between trans women, women within the ballroom culture, within the GAY community, within the LGBTQIA plus community. It's room to talk about it because it's obviously from even just listening to you, although you're giving very detailed responses to it because you're so informed. To me, you're still acknowledging that yeah, misogyny is a thing. I mean, misogyny been a thing and sexism been a thing for thousands of years. That's the whole reason why we have these strict gender roles and this gender binary and how we're supposed to perform is based on the patriarchy and sexism and how the way you control a group of people is by assigning them certain roles that they have to have. So I just was wondering why we couldn't talk about it, but I'm glad that we it seemed like we might be able to. But let me let Angie in real quick, and then we'll open it back up. But I appreciate your honesty and you giving us this
Are you
information.
gonna finish playing the audio?
Oh yeah, I will, but I'm gonna let Angie because Angie was saying something and
I'm just reminding you about the audio. That's
oh
fine.
yeah, thank you. I will after Angie speaks. Go ahead, Angie, and then I'll play the audio so y'all can hear it.
Yeah, the audio that you was playing, that was my ex Darion, just to let y'all
Okay.
know.
All right.
Um,
So, do you
uh,
mind disclosing your are you
I'm a
cis
trans woman, yes.
trans woman? Okay. All right.
Yes. Misogyny has always played its part, within, the roles of, femininity for such a long time. As, as Social was saying, she was part of ballroom too. I got sisters that's part of ballroom too, because I'm from New York City too. So everything that she's saying is true, 100% facts. Because I got sisters and I got sisters and aunties and, who were part of ballroom of the house of Mizrahi and the Ferocity houses as well too. Like this was like all ballroom culture, houses from back in the days. So therefore it's like, I've already, seen it all, especially in ballroom as well. Like, how, the grandfathers and the uncles of ballrooms and stuff used to, groom, the younger generation into ballrooms as well, and how they tried to cancel out the
No.
girls, or how the house mothers used to try to pimp out the girls as well. So it's
Oh
like,
no.
I've grown
Wait,
into,
Angie, hold on, Angie, hold on. Not to
yeah.
interrupt. Well, I got to because oh my god. So there was with Paris is burning.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, I forget. I don't know what
Venus
pronouns they go by.
extravaganza.
With the teeth was missing. The teeth was missing.
um what's her name?
I know y'all know what I'm talking about.
You talking about that's
It
Venus
was
extravaganza.
it was
That
a young because it was a young
Angie.
man. It was a young man in a red jacket that was over there, and they were talking about like how they bring people in. And I'm not going to lie, something in my spirit went right. So when you said that, I'm not saying that that's what it was, but I'm just saying it's crazy that I was thinking that, and then you just said something, and I wow. Okay, go ahead. I just wanted to.
Yeah, that's exactly
Uh,
what they
because
used
sex
to.
work is a big thing
It's a big thing. And
with.
then on top of
Okay.
that, like, how they used to the older women, like the older girls, especially if you were the younger girls, especially around the time, you Social, you remember the time when the girls used to
Girl,
start
I
pumping.
was in SW. Girl, I started at 13, 14. Girl, I
Right.
was getting
Oh
pimped
my
up by my grandma.
god.
But you were familiar when the girls used to start pumping and stuff, right?
Cause I
In the
was pumped.
downtown area, right?
Yeah, girl, I got pumped at 16. I got my first breast augmentation at 16.
Okay, so
Right.
yeah. So when around those times where the younger girls were getting, fed, fed with a lot of indoctrination, especially, when they were into their transition into saying, oh, well, you need to, have more breasts, you need to have more hips, you to look cunt, you have to, get your face done, you have to look, you have to look presentable, you have to represent yourself once you're outside in society, or else you're gonna get clocked, or you're gonna, look brick or whatever and stuff too. But sometimes when it has a lot of side effects, especially using baby oil and I forgot the concrete and baby oil and stuff. So the girls will pump. And then, especially the older grandfathers and the uncles that were in the ballroom scenes that were, sleeping with the younger boys and stuff so they can get, trophies, so they can, walk certain categories as well, or the girls who were walk in certain categories is like certain categories, but they were getting smaller trophies and the boys was getting more smaller trophies. So the girls didn't understand why they were getting smaller trophies the way that they did. But you have to be more face, like you have to walk face, you have to walk sex siren, you have to walk certain different categories to fill in those gaps. So once they knew that it was part of misogyny, how the girls were feeling that, oh, like, damn, like, how are we sitting over here not, like how they're tricking us out of our numbers? How does the judges tricking out of our numbers? And, how are they not giving us bigger trophies or anything and stuff, but they're giving them the boys? That's because they look more of the boys, because they look high of them, because they're sleeping with them.
Girl, oh my God.
Jesus, like this is I should have did a damn trigger warning.
You gotta do a trigger warning, girl. I gotta cry because I dealt with that in my life.
That
No
is,
shit.
but that is not how. Oh, Lord.
A couple, because a few days, like I want to say, like a month ago, I want to say a month and some change ago, me and my sisters, Katrina and Tamaya, if you know who Kitten is, we were just talking about how they used to pimp out the girls and how they used to trick the girls out of the categories and the scores and all types of other stuff, because the judges or the older men or the grandfathers and the uncles used to be sleeping with the younger boys and stuff.
Katrina.
But that
Tamaya,
being
I have
so,
a
let
picture.
me.
Hold up, real
So
quick,
I
real
want to
quick.
play. I want to play the clips from
Oh,
yesterday
go ahead.
because I'm wondering why. Because this is important to the conversation. While cisgender women have an experience that goes 1,000 years with the way men have dealt with female human bodies. This underground about ballroom that is not known, that has so many beautiful progressive things with it, also has a dark soft white underbelly that would help be able to explain some of the identity crisis, some of the harm, some of the trauma that people experience being a part of the community and not being accepted. Like, we should have been talking about this. It's strange that we haven't been able to talk about it because it's such a big divide. It's fucking insane.
Oh, girl, and she wasn't lying, girl. I used to get touched by Tim Princess to win ball. Shade.
No, that is insane. Hold on, I gotta find it again, y'all. Give me a second.
But they wasn't given the chance.
So Hunter's shots are beautiful.
Okay, so here we go. I found it that fast. Hold on, y'all.
Words that have different meanings and multiple. In a phrase, there's something fishy about this. How are people supposed to have a conversation
Why did
about?
y'all not? I don't know, and I think. Okay, so hold on. Cause let me slow it down. Cause I don't know. And I think, and I'm gonna be honest, I think the reason why it's hard to grasp what we're saying, and there's so much need to push back, even from you, JoJo, is because of misogyny. Y'all cannot hear what we're saying. Hold on, let me find it. So here, I'm gonna slide. That's the thing. That time says, oh, you, they're
Ma'am,
saying,
have you ever heard that the
hold on, let me go back. But so now the words are used in a positive way. If a person of the community says, "Oh, you giving fish? Oh, you serving fish? Oh, you have a cunty voice. Oh, real cunt. Oh, that's giving real all that." They're
ma'am?
saying like you look good. Why every time I get to talking, you want to interrupt? So I gotta find it again. So I'm gonna let y'all address this part. Am I not explaining it correctly?
So when we use fish, so we've been using fish in ballroom for so many, for like for God knows
I will
how
tell you when
long.
the word was invented in ballroom in 1976.
Yeah, it was
By the
like
House
we
of
didn't
Blues.
use that for so long, because it's like when you it's like, okay, how can I put it? When you're when you're talking in certain vocabularies or certain lingos or certain vernaculars, like with your homegirls or your good girlfriends and stuff, like y'all kiki, or like, for example, kiki meaning like you chit chat or you just have like girl talk or whatever and stuff and all that. It's like, when we have other codes, it's like we code switch, meaning like, we switch conversation, like we switch like the lingo to it. to, you know, match the energy of the person who walks in the room. Meaning, oh, like, yes, like that girl, she's fish. Like, hold on, wait a minute. Like, is she cunt? Like, if she's one of the girls. Like, we want to know. That's typically what we're meaning. Like, you know, there's nothing shady or nothing, derogatory of that term, though, if you're not around the right people who can, give you the meaning or the definition or the lingo translation of what it means, though. Because because it's like right now, anything that's like circular in your circulating around your house, for example, like anything that's circular around your house, and it's like when you open the door, it's like you letting it all out. So it's like when certain vocabularies or AAVE or any other vernaculars is gone outside in society or in public and stuff, some people like, hold on, I'm gonna show you, for example.
Hold on real quick, Angie, girl. I have a picture with Tamaya from 2007
Really?
when I was 10 years old.
Like, okay,
It's when
hold
she was
on.
still a
So
triple
like this
sexy.
right here
Mm-hmm.
is actually this.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning it doesn't mean clock it. That means that you like, yes, I agree with you. Like, yes, I understand. Like, yes, 100. Or yes, I
Oh no, the
would
girls would
typically
do
what it
that when you
means.
knew. It's
That
the girls that you knew you won the ball.
Yeah, like you won the ball. Like I congratulate you. Like I agree with you. Like I mess with that. It's now gone so viral around the internet to the point it's like it's clock it, clock this, clock that, clock this, and that, and the third. Clocking meaning that you clocking actually in the definition that's being I'm gonna translate what clock means. So clocking means that you know somebody's business, or clocking means somebody knows your business. Or for example, somebody say clocking, that means that somebody know that you're, one of the girls, that you're not cunt, you're not fish or anything. They know that you're trans, or you're tranny. Like, for excuse my language, but that's what clocking means. Like you're a man. Like I clocked your T. Like, yeah, I can see you. You see me, I see you. That's what it means to clock someone, though. So it's like our vernaculars is like our vernaculars in our AEV is like when we've created for, in within our circle and our space and our round groups, because that's the only thing that we could understand from each other, though. But it's like when we, like for example, my mother, like, she always asks me questions like, what does fish mean? Like, what is, clock it means? Like, what is, the finger claw means and stuff. Like, I give her, the rundowns and the definitions and stuff too. And she loves it. Like, she loves it so much, she can't even stop using it. So it's like, it's no point. It's like, when we say certain things to, other, cisgender women or anything, it's not in no way or shape or form to try to offend or, like try to debunk the situation. It's like we try to, come to a middle ground or a common ground to try to have like a simple conversation, like, oh, well, I want to educate you on this certain type of lingo and stuff so you can understand. And it's like a lot of the cisgender women loves it. Like they live for the code switch. They live for the lingo and stuff, because now it's popularized now.
No, Shay sister, that's the new term, clock it.
Yeah, that's the new term.
Hey girl, when did you enter the scene?
Oh, child, I had damn, I transitioned like almost 20 years ago, child.
But like, when did you enter it though?
Like, I want to say 2008.
Okay, so the same time as me, but
Yeah.
well, no, actually, no, I was 2007. It was late 2007 for me.
Okay.
I was 9.
Yeah, me, I was 12 turning 13.
Right. How old are you? I'm 27.
30.
I'm a Cancer.
Gemini.
Right. So when I entered the scene, sister, like, I knew Tamaya
I can't
personally.
find the clip now. Damn, I'm having a hard time finding the clip. So hold on. So I think I understand how it what it represents within the ballroom culture. The argument that I'm making is for us to come back to the table to recognize that cisgender women are starting to hear these terms, and maybe it is because it's getting global, right? And it's like it feel icky. It feel icky because we know how men address us, and although we understand the way it is utilized, and I get it, and I get that there's cisgender women within the community who are okay with it, But there's a lot of things that cisgender women have been okay with because we didn't know it was wrong. We talk about a lot over here about consent. There's so many women who could tell you a story about their man waking them up in the middle of the night and they didn't know that that wasn't consent, that is not okay. But we thought it was okay. And maybe you too have a story like that. But the point is, we thought it was okay and it's not okay. As we start to be able to compare notes and talk, because TikTok allows people in Newark, New Jersey, or New York, or in Louisiana, or in California to speak in a manner that we wouldn't be able to speak. We would have never had this conversation running into each other at the mall. Now we can say, whoa, 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 hold on. That's not cool. In the same way that y'all will be able to say, hold on, it's not cool for you to call me a she, you know what? That's not cool. It's not cool for you to call me it's not cool for you to misgender me. Like, it's not cool for you to, like, whatever. It's just, we're just having a conversation saying, hey, you might didn't know that I go by they, them pronouns, but I do. So now I'm telling you. It don't matter what you see me as. I'm telling you, I go by they, them. Like, we're now getting to a place where we're just having a conversation. So if we can, like, we're now getting to a place where we're just having a conversation. So if we can, look back to where the term was used negatively, and then we can even say it's something about, it's a reason why, to where the term was used negatively, and then we can even say it's something about, it's a reason why within the community they want to use the term, and it represents what it represents. And we can even talk about that. So how I want to move from that is, think about this. When we think about identity, is it possible that, like, is the binary something that you if I were to ask you to, do you want the binary, or do you want to dismantle the binary because it's so restricting? Like, I guess I want to get some understanding about that.
Binary?
No, the binary, like male, female, man, woman.
No, because if there was no such thing as man, female, woman, I mean, what would we be? Just humans?
Yeah, so that's what I think we need to open up a conversation about, because from the outside looking in, it seems like it is a binary. It's like it's just wanting to go from one thing to another instead of it being more open and androgynous, right? Like having it, and I know it's some of that is there, but do you get what I'm saying? Like, I think a lot of these conversations, like even when we talking about it, even when we talk about like trans women and women, the reality is we should be trying to break down this idea of what femininity, or not trying to perform femininity at all. When you say like we need to figure out a way how to Tara, would you say genderless? Like, I don't know how to frame it, but the gender roles is old. Go ahead, Tara.
I think when I was talking about what I was saying, like the gender binary is something that we know was forced upon people to get to, like, essentially control how people behave so that they can have like a workforce, a military, and make sure people are still having babies, right? And it's like, if you look at other indigenous cultures around the world, there's never been a strict one or the other binary. There's always been more ways you can identify. And I think what happens is, like, if we recognize that part of the freedom is, like, if you think about a GAY man, like, liberation would be never having to come out the closet. Like, that wouldn't have to be a thing. The closet wouldn't even exist or whatever. So the idea is, like, we all forced upon roles and we are all performing based on the roles that they're giving us. And I don't know if it would be genderless, but like, it wouldn't have to be so strict. And it don't have to be like a counterculture thing. It could just be this what it is, if that makes sense.
The reason why.
Wait, real quick.
Oh, go ahead,
Real
sister.
quick. Before we were seen as trans women, we were transsexual femi queens. Then in the 90s, we became femme queens. And then we became women. But when we talk about gender roles, it's all just a construct, right? Made by white men. But when we talk about that, we have to leave out that every other place on earth has their own gender roles outside of the white people. Like Africa, they had femme, they had masc, they had all of that. If you take away genders in the United States, in North America, then we would be nothing.
But that's why I have gender roles were created by men. I don't specify how globally men cause havoc as a way to have dominance, as a way to subjugate female bodies and what being feminine is, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, like when you think about Thailand, they have the lady boys. That's a culture. Is it Thailand? I don't know where it's at, but they have lady boys as a culture. But it's certain things and certain rules they have even there, even though it seems like that's an open thing. They have certain rules and a way that femininity and masculinity works too. So we get that it's everywhere. We don't think we think that through the Atlantic over here, we think that through the Atlantic slave trade, the patriarchy came with them. They ain't teach them. It came right on that motherfucking boat with them. It was right there with them. So that's what we're talking about. We're talking
Can I
about a
clarify?
global issue.
What
Go,
can
yeah, go ahead.
Can I
Let
also
Terrence clarify.
clarify? Because I understand like gender is so part of your identity. I don't think the conversation about being genderless. I think like that's kind of like where the conversation's going. That is more than one or the other, and it's like if we can at least acknowledge. A lot of people don't even want to acknowledge that it is a social construct. That is something that was invented, and we get to define it. So we get to define it, and it's not working. Then why can't we reevaluate? Why can't we like redo it? Why are we stuck like just trying to make it fit? But it's like this box has been pushed on us. That part to me don't make sense.
Because, I mean, what would we be called if we weren't called women, females, male, and men, and boys and girls? What would we be called?
No, so it depends on how you are looking at it, because if you look at it like this, female humans, female adult humans are called women, and male adult humans are called men, and you don't attach any role to it, then we wouldn't have an attachment to when we hear the word woman. Like, let's say in this society that we're talking about, the word woman wouldn't mean pretty dresses and femininity. It would just be a descriptor of that sex identity, for lack of a better term.
Well, let's blame that on the white tea people.
You said what?
Let's blame that on the white tea people, because before it was that, we didn't really wear women didn't really wear dresses back when the term woman was really used. I mean, they did, but they weren't like over extravagant and over like feminine and like femi. They weren't like that. Like before men started making it
And
what it is.
perhaps, because I also believe that the roles and the way that they are how they are broke down, I do think that men created that idea of it, for the most part. So yeah, like I don't think that I don't care. Like I don't, me personally, and this could be, you can say what you want to say, based on my lived experience, but I do not care. Like when I be having these conversations and there's like this knee jerk reaction to call me a T woman as a way to like shut me up, I don't care. Like I don't care if you call me masculine. I don't care how you call me. It is what it is. I'm trying to survive, and my survival, I do not want my survival to be based on how people perceive me, because it strips away my humanity. Like if you say that because I'm loud and I curse and I have a big nose and big lips and I don't like to wear weave and I don't like to do certain things, and you tell me I'm not feminine enough, you could kiss my ass. I just don't want your ass to hurt me. Like, who cares? But you get harmed if you don't perform femininity properly. But then you also get harmed for being feminine or being a woman. So it's a lose-lose. So that's why we're having this conversation. Like, I do not care. I want to be able to exist how I am. And if I like to talk like a sailor but wear pretty pink dresses, let me. But if I also am a person who is more dainty and more feminine, but I like to wear pantsuit, let me. If I am a man who likes to wear dresses, let them. If kids want to wear dresses, like, who cares is my point. Like, and I know it's a thing. I know people do care. And that's why I'm saying we got to dismantle this, because it's too restricting. It's causing a divide, and it doesn't allow people to express themselves. It puts people in this weird identity crisis that's unnecessary. When the reality is humans should be able to express themselves how the fuck they want without fearing anything. That's my view. But we don't have that. So now we got to work on, it don't really matter who's at fault. How can we, with the information we have, how can we begin to shake up the table? And I thought we were moving towards that, and then I realized we wasn't. So that's why I was like, okay, we got to have the conversation then. But go ahead, Social.
Well, like, I don't know, like, girl, and you gonna have to take that one. Like, I'm not good like with the gender construct or anything like that. Like, I can only speak from like experience. I don't know.
No, that's fine that you don't know. I think that's the thing. A lot of people don't know. We're conditioned to view things a certain way. So I think I don't know suffices. Go ahead, Angie, if you have something.
The thing is that like where we come to a bump in the road is where we live amongst excuse me, we live amongst the patriarchal performative, especially the patriarchal oppression as well. The fact that because we're living in the westernized, Americanized area now, because where it has always fished alongside where we can try to perform masculinity or femininity and stuff when it comes to the colonialism, or how they proceed to try to identify what a woman is or what a man is, or how a man is supposed to perceive or act or behave in society, or the same as how a woman is supposed to perform or act and behave in society as well. It's like in most cultures where we see outside of the Americanized culture, is where we see that other cultures from other places around the globe perform or behave much more different, and they don't do much more like how America does, where they have to police or police femininity, where they feel like being feminine is a threat, and being more masculine is you will get more into the door when it comes to certain things, or you have to be more dainty, or when it comes to the what is that called, this beauty standards of what a woman supposed to be, or how she's supposed to behave out in public, or in the household as well. As it comes more to the point that it's like you have to be locked into that to be called a woman, to be feminine, or you can't wear where you can't wear, well, if you don't wear makeup, or if you don't wear the extended amount of hair, or the new heels or pumps and dress that's out now, you will be more feminine. Or we see all over social media, or all in the blogs, or all out on TV, how women are, how they see white tea women are more seen as beautiful, or as the beauty standards of what woman's supposed to be. Or you got that spicy Latina that's down the street or whatever, and the whole block want her and stuff too. But it's like when it comes to a black woman, she's obnoxious, she's not feminine, she's not the it girl, she's not the blueprint or the improvement of what it is to be feminine and stuff. It's like the type of things that we go through, especially with misogyny or misogyny noir, when it comes to black women, is more so. And then on top of that, let me come back to that. There was a man
Yeah, I gotta drop. I'm
that
about to walk in the house. I'll come back up.
uh, there was a man who had unalived a black
Okay.
woman. Oh, I'm sorry. There was a man who unalived a black woman because he thought she was a trans woman. He
Ah,
said that he would do it again
ooh,
if it was true or whatever and stuff. If you've seen that article was like 2 years
yeah,
ago.
girl, I remember that. I'll show
Did
you.
y'all see
So
that 20 versus 1 where that girl, I think she said she was like a guy or something like
Yeah,
that. I don't know if it did something to her or something like that.
no,
that's my sister.
she was
No,
she
stop it.
it confirmed that she was a cis woman. She
No,
was
no, no.
just
He
trolling.
probably talking about the Joyce, because Joyce was on 20
21
versus 1.
20
That's my
versus one.
sister.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Because Kitten is my sister,
Oh.
and I'm Joyce's auntie. I practically raised that little girl as a
Mm.
wifey.
Oh
Ooh,
yeah.
light skin auntie.
I'm about to
That's
say,
my
That's
daughter.
it, and that's the thing though. The same thing that how patriarchy, or how people do the patriarchal performative outside in society will think that more so a light skinned woman would be more presented or presentable, or how she behaves or how beautiful she is more so a mixed woman, or a white tea woman, or the Latina.
That's what I think is crazy. Like they think like
It's a praise that they
mixed
I got
have.
a question.
they
So I
But
think
got
it's
light
like
skin
the
mixed and
thing is, they make it
Latina.
easy. They make it anything that us as a BOK race do. They make it very easy for us to like be. How can I say like a negative correlation if that makes sense? So anything we do, like even if it's like we can't even compare ourselves. We don't want to obviously, but we can't compare ourselves to any of those other outside people because say we get an attitude now we
Now we're
like,
aggressive. Now we're getting
I
right
want to
aggressive and
right
hold on. I want to
obnoxious.
ask you a
right.
question. Hold on one second. I want to ask you a question, Fem, because you just got up here. Then I want to ask, Fem. I want you to answer the prompt first. Then
Yes,
I
ma'am.
want I want Prince to be able to speak, and then I got to ask y'all a question because I was listening to y'all and I got a question. But go ahead, Fem. Answer,
Um,
answer whatever you want off the prompt, and then keep it kind of short so I can let Prince go, and then I can ask y'all a question. Go ahead.
I got you. And I do talk. So if I'm going too long, I'm gonna try to cut it as short as I can. But if I talk too long, please cut me off. I got you.
Oh, and how you identify?
He, him.
All right.
So I feel like, I kind of do feel like, in a way, and I can't tell anybody what to do or how to do whatever they want to do. Everybody can do whatever they want. That's not for me to tell somebody what they can and can't do. But to answer the question, I do feel like in a way, drag kind of it did. I don't know. So I'll ask this real quick so I can answer it correctly. What necessarily is a minstrel show?
I like blackface. The
Oh,
shows when they dress up in blackface with the tar on the face.
okay. Like kind of like a tease thing, like a making fun of type joint.
Yeah, and some black men did blackface too, which ain't shocking, but
That's crazy because you're already be okay. But it's anyway. Definitely because I feel like womanhood, specifically anybody that claims as a woman or anything like that. Like I feel like that is a lifestyle, and I feel like drag isn't a lifestyle to me personally. I mean, anybody can disagree with me if they want to, but I feel like it's not a lifestyle. It's like something that somebody just wants to get into, and then once you do it the way you want to do it, and you're accepted by a group of people, you start doing whatever you want to do. And in a kind of society where not us, but like that society, sometimes you can't have an opinion without it being like you're attacking somebody. So it's like in that same essence, they're protected by that. And so them being protected by that, they can kind of do whatever they want in essence. And it doesn't matter what it makes anything look because, again, they're protected by, obviously not being judged. Because if they're judged, it's like, why are you talking about them that way? Why are you treating them that way? Like, you know
so
what I'm
let me
saying? Stuff like
clarify
that.
something real quick, Tim. So womanhood is not a lifestyle; it's an experience. And then the ballroom is pretty much like a pageant. It's not necessarily like it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist like everywhere. It is a pageant that people are part of, and then they develop relationships because it's like a whole bunch of people are getting together for a pageant on Saturday in the same way that a whole bunch of people get together for the baseball game.
Right.
So they're just building relationships based on the connection of doing these shows. So I want to make that clear. But hold on, let me let Prince respond, and then we'll open it back up because I wanted to ask a question. Go ahead, Prince. Hey, Prince.
Hey, thank you for having me up. All right. I'm gonna answer the prompt questions first. Did drag up? All right. I'm gonna answer the prompt questions first. Did drag? I believe it did, in a sense. If we're using the definition of a minstrel show, then yeah, it did turn womanhood into a minstrel show because it is. It's okay. Because it is, in a sense, a caricature of what the person thinks a woman is or what they look like or the attempted mannerisms of a woman, the same way as white people would dress and caricaturize and use the mannerisms that they assume that black people embody. So in that sense, yes, that is a minstrel show. The term fish is a slur. Yeah. If cis women are being called that and they do not like being called that, then it is a slur. The same way that the C word is a slur for the Asian community, Same way that the K word is a slur for the J people community. The same way that the F word is a slur for the LGBTQIA plus community. If the offended parties say that's a slur, then it's a slur, and that ought to be respected.
No, I don't. And I want to.
I'm still talking, please.
That's like you saying if I'm BOK, then I should be offended because you call me BOK. I could just say it's an offense, even though I
No,
am.
if that's not. Hold on. If we're going to use the BLK, that would be saying if you were called the N word.
But we can't move the goalpost. Though. You're saying
But
I am still talking.
because
Whoa.
Go ahead. You're good.
Whoa.
Go ahead.
Hold on. Let me start with this. I did not come up here to interrupt anyone, and I appreciate it if you didn't interrupt me.
Keep talking. You got it.
It's not an oh my god. It's a mutual respect.
Got it.
Check
You got
your
it. You're
Patreon,
right.
you do.
You're right. You
Check
got it.
Sir, hold on.
You got it. You're right.
Hold on, sir. We've been having a respectful conversation, and she didn't interrupt anybody, and she's not being rude. She's answering it based on how she perceives it, and we will open up the floor for whoever disagrees. She didn't say nothing crazy.
No.
She just doesn't agree.
That's cool. My fault. I'm not interrupting. My fault. I'm wrong. My fault.
Okay. And the last part where it says gender roles were created by men, yes, they were. They were created by men first in the patriarchal sense before the advent of colonialism. And then once the European world decided to basically create capitalism and do it destructively against the global south and the old world, then it became a tool of colonialism and capitalism. So in a sense, yes, gender roles were created by men.
And before you go hard, can you mute real quick? Angie, because Angie, you saying she lied or wrong, but when Social came up here, Social gave us like the history background. So it was an exaggerated show. So I mean, maybe the word minstrel might be uncomfortable, and we could talk about that, but how was she loud and wrong? I just want to understand that.
the thing is that I mean, I understand there are some people who don't understand what it is to be drag or do drag shows or whatever and stuff. But the thing is that men, especially when it comes to drag, being in drag, there was a difference by doing blackface. There was a difference between doing other racial densities that were happening back in those times. Though drag queen was doing it out of, and there was a such thing as drag king as well for females as well. But the thing is that around those times they were doing it from out of performance though. But people always thought that. Hold on, wait a minute.
No. Why are you saying female?
Because do you want me to? Okay, so you want me to say woman?
Yeah. How do you want me to talk about you?
But the thing is no. What's your? Okay, but don't misquote me. The thing is that like that's what drag kings were. There were such thing as drag kings for women. Excuse me. The thing is that like how they done it. They done it based off of the feelings of their masculine side, what they were trying to perform for out there. Because the thing is that how they were trying to perceive of what it is to be feminine and masculine. That's why they performed.
Wait, but real quick. Can I say something?
Sure,
Angie,
but I would like to respond.
I went real quick, because my name is brought up real quick. I'm gonna say what I said. I think
let her respond real quick, Prince, because I want to say something too. Go ahead.
Okay.
But can I say what I?
Yeah, Social, go ahead.
Okay, so what I said was it was there for trans people to transition before we medically have the ways to transition. Majority of them were trans and end up transitioning later in life. But besides that, I think it was over extravagant. Like it was more overdone when we got to like the 70s and 80s.
When it got to the 70s and 80s.
In the 30s and 40s and in the 60s, all of that. Up until that, when it first started off, before ballroom was reinvented by Crystal Asia, it was just trans people trying to live the trans experience and the trans life with getting away with it as dressing as something that they weren't and identifying as something that they weren't at the time that wasn't acceptable. But now we have trans drag queens. Back then it was just all trans drag queens.
I had a problem with that too, because RuPaul, around that time, RuPaul had spoke against the girls doing drag.
Right. Another thing about RuPaul is
Wait,
Wait,
hold on before
why?
you go there. Hold on. Let Prince ask her a question because I want to clarify something too. Go ahead, Prince.
Yeah, so on the example of drag kings and, explaining what you just said about what drag culture is, that is in line with what I said. You're performing what your concept is of what a woman or a man is. It's still a caricature.
Okay, but it's still a caricature before it became more popularized where women were more feminine, or where they so-called say that women were more feminine and stuff. Because around those times, what I recall, that when drag queens were out and they were the first to come out with more exaggerating stuff, though. I mean, let's be for
Yeah,
real.
but I'm trying to see why you're disagreeing because we're
Yeah,
essentially saying the
because I
same
mean,
thing.
okay, Print, but I understand that you don't understand, that you don't know, and that's okay. Because at the end of the day,
I
where me
mean,
and
hold
social,
on. I
where
would
me
I
and
would like for
social,
you to
like where
hold on,
me and
Angie.
social came from.
Angie.
Excuse me, because you did said that you wanted somebody else, that somebody wanted to respect you for speaking. So let me speak.
No,
The
but y'all
thing
are
is,
saying the same thing. I'm the one
We're saying the
interrupting
same
because y'all are
thing.
I'm
saying
not.
They're
How
not
am I
saying, like, I can see what you have to be a part of both culture to see where Angie coming from. It's
exactly?
different in a sense because what me and
Can't step
Angie are
up and you can't,
saying,
right, because you can't up and slap a
I
label and say, oh
mean,
yeah, I'm right. And now, when it comes to, two femme queens that come from drag, I mean, not
no,
drag,
the difference in what we're saying is the experience of it. Because y'all are holding on to it and it's uncomfortable.
we're not
Even
holding
though
on
we're
to it,
saying
because
the
at the end
same
of the day, you have to talk
thing.
to drag queens. We're femme queens. We're
but
not drag
it's
queens.
but regardless of what, it's
Is that
still
when you
an
have
expression of a
conversations,
caricature,
when you
though.
have conversations with drag queens and stuff, they're going to tell you
I
their
do have
reasoning
hold
of
on.
doing
I do
drag.
have conversation with drag queens. My
How
aunt was
many?
a
How
drag
many?
queen.
Because I
What are
can
you
name
talking about?
how many? Because baby, I live in New York City. The thing
right,
is
and
that
we
Yeah,
live in
my
New
aunt is
York.
a
I
drag
have a
queen. What are you
substantial
talking about?
relationship
So,
with my
I don't
with the
have these
community
con-
that
hold
I
on.
live
I
and
don't
Angie,
have
girl,
these
you know where I live.
conversations
You
in
know
a
where I live is
fishbowl.
Transfield walking down the street, girl. I live in East Harlem,
and I
right above
and I'm from East
Manhattan.
New York, and I see the drag queens who perform, going all out in East Harlem, out in the Bronx, out in
Right. South
Queens,
Bronx,
out there
all
and
of
stuff
that.
too, and they give their reasoning of doing drag.
But it's
And
still a
out of that,
And
of what
caricature.
you're saying is not
before
correct.
I transitioned, I was a child that was doing drag. When I was a trans, I was doing drag.
Okay.
I was one of them. I was at the drag balls in East 125th Street.
Okay, hold on one sec, because I got a question. But hold on, Prince, finish what you're saying, because I got a
Like
question. And
like
then
I
I
think
want Heart
it's
to respond too.
and I am just going off of just what I'm hearing and the instinct of it all, so bear with me for a second.
Hmm.
But what I'm sensing is that I don't think you're really understanding what I'm saying when I'm saying caricature in the performance, right? And like I said, my aunt did drag when she was younger. Her friends are drag queens and drag kings, so it's not like I'm speaking in a bubble. This is an observation of what I have from seeing the lifestyle, not inside it, but just seeing it and just my understanding of it and putting it to the concepts that I learn and I study. So, I mean, a caricature in itself is not good or bad. So I would like for you to not, well, no, that's not true. I can't tell you how to feel about it. So I apologize for that. But caricature is in itself is not negative or positive unless the person makes it so, or in the context of this conversation, it's not a negative or a positive, it's an observation, right? I am observing what I see is, in a sense, a performance, a caricature of what womanhood is, or
Yeah.
what is believed that womanhood is. So, in that sense, it is a show and a performance. So, we're saying the same thing, it's just in a different font. And I think the defensiveness is coming from the assumption that I do not live in the community or have proximity to the lifestyle, and that is not true. Do I understand the defensiveness? Yes, because I am a Black woman. I live in a white supremacist patriarchal world, so I get it and I empathize. But the heat from it, we're saying the same thing, but from different perspectives. If that makes sense.
That's what I was hearing.
What Angie was
And I
saying though
land
is
there.
that drag wasn't overdone because we were doing that before women were doing, like we were actually being feminine Because
What I'm saying
back then,
is,
women were more
let's
masculine than
listen to
us.
that, Prince. Cause hold on, can you repeat that?
Back then, women were more masculine than trans women and drag queens.
Hmm.
We
in the
started, we,
80s or back
Wait,
no,
no,
then?
back in
Prince.
the
Hold on,
40s and
Prince,
50s.
Prince, Prince.
Oh,
That's
okay.
Prince, baby. That's exactly what we've been saying, baby.
But I'm not saying it's over extravagant. More we made y'all
I
into like,
mean,
well, no, like the characteristics that y'all have now, like when y'all want to put up those smexy suits that y'all put on, like the lingerie. We did that 40 years, 50 years before y'all. We did that to impress for shows. But you gotta see, we were the original femmies. Even before, when
but it's
females are females, right? They're femme. But we were femmies. We did what females are doing now 40
Cause
years ago.
cause
oh,
males
but
create. Hold on, males created
okay.
it so males can do the femininity better because they have the best idea of what femininity is. That makes sense. Yeah,
Also,
I can
to
see.
add to that,
Go
the
ahead,
to the
Prince.
history of lingerie, it was designed by men post World War II because
Mm-hmm.
of, well, not post World War II, but it could have been between World War One and World War II. Anyway,
It was World War One,
like
World War Two.
lingerie, World War One, yeah, because of the intensity of trench warfare and the men missing the women, they made these idealized cuts of clothing, lingerie, stockings, bras, to see what they wanted to see on women. So to say that lingerie and makeup, well, that's not true because lingerie and makeup were like inventions by men.
But that's what
But
I'm
to say
saying,
that when
Prince.
women saw it on drag queens and inspired them, that's not necessarily true. And that takes away the autonomy of the woman. Because
No,
women had makeup trends way before that.
but
Unless I'm
no,
missing
Prince.
something.
No, but
Think of lingerie and makeup. What do you think of
hold on
from the
one second.
40s?
Hold on one second. Cause Prince, I hear what you're saying, but hold my hand, Prince. But go ahead, Tara. Go ahead, Tara.
Yes.
Um, no, I wanted to finish. I think I might have taken somewhere else, but y'all go ahead.
Oh, cause well, you could go after me, cause I'm simply gonna say, I made the argument that men, they created this idea of what the performance of being a woman is, and they assigned that performance to female human beings, women. They assigned that performance to us. It wasn't something that we asked for necessarily. It was something that was assigned to us, and as time went on and they created certain things to align with that assignment, I could definitely see how trans women would say that they created it, because yeah, y'all are privy and y'all would be able to be the better woman in that aspect. You'll be able to perform femininity better than women. Of course
That goes
you
to the
have the
whole thing
advantage.
about my bad, but that goes to the whole thing about the I guess it back to the conversation about like the jealousy of it all, whatever. And I'm like, it's interesting because like again, it's not a strict cutting line. That's what it is, but it's like I don't know. I guess it depends on the way it's said. It came across like, oh, this is like is a gift. That shit oppressive. That shit oppressive as fuck. Like because of this exaggeration, now this is an expectation. This is a standard. And if I do less than, then now I'm less than who I am as a person. And I never asked for that. Women didn't ask for it.
It got put onto them, and then the contention becomes that trans women believe that they, like, we are wanting to hoard this identity that they created, and y'all win, y'all can have it. Like, if that's if because my understanding of it now, y'all are the better women. You got it. Like, you, if you can have all of it, all the exaggeration, all, you're so feminine. You get it. You won. Cause I don't want to have to be conditioned to perform, and then turn around and have to be forced in a competition with other women because they say they created something that nobody asked for. We were assigned a identity based on our bodies. And it sounds like trans women embrace it. And that's why I said the last time, emphasize femininity is something that keeps women in bondage, and it's something that affirms trans women. So I'm like, y'all got it. Y'all could be the baddest bitches in the room if that's the case. Because I don't want to argue about that. I don't think that's where we should
I
go.
I personally
Excuse me
think,
right
to be
quick. Hold
honest,
on one
House.
second, Angie. Hold on one second.
Hold on, because
Because I'm
Dark
about to
Horse
drop
haven't
Okay.
back
went
off.
yet. Go ahead. Yeah, Dark Horse
Yeah.
haven't went.
Damn.
Go
I
ahead,
was
Dark
gonna
Horse.
say, it's like 30 minutes ago, but the position that you're coming from, that you've always been trying to get, is us getting out of the box. And I keep telling you, versus somebody trying to get in the box. So I think it's interesting when a timeline was given about the 40s, 50s, 60s, and how the name changed and
Mm-hmm.
how it's just arrived at woman. And
Mm-hmm.
you're saying, hey, we don't need these labels. But they gave a timeline of how many years they've been fighting to get to woman and being accepted and labeled as woman. And now we're
Augustine.
saying we don't want those labels. We don't want them. Fuck it. We hate it. We hate this box that it's in. So that's why it kind of got silent and there wasn't any engagement when you were like, hey, I think it's too constrictive. It can be open. Do we really need these labels? It was kind of dead in here. Oh, dang, I said it. It was you know what I'm saying? It was quiet
Mm-hmm.
because you're saying for someone who kept fighting to get this, that
Mm-hmm.
now that y'all here, give it up. They're like, we just got here.
Yeah.
We just got here. I don't want to let that go. That's what I've been working to get. So there is us passing in the night. Women are going this way, and then they're running the other way. They're saying, hey, nah, I'm trying to get that title. I just got it. I'm not about to give it up. I don't care how long you had it. This is what I've been working for. So that's going to be the contention to me, is that we're trying to say, no, we want to open this up. It's constrictive. And no, someone is not going to say it's constrictive when they're saying, no, the other way things were done was constrictive. I've been working to get to where you're saying, I don't want this shit. So that's why it's not going to meet in the middle and it's not going to be a kumbaya like you think, because there are two different mindsets.
Especially
Um,
when they say they do it better, like they created it. And that's what I was saying before. I had
but
heard that being
but
said. I'm
it
like, oh,
but
they
it had to
created
be
it. So yeah.
exaggerated for it was exaggerated for safety. It
Yeah.
was exaggerated to have the
What?
masculine features for safety. It wasn't exaggerated because you did it better. You were doing it for safety. So it had to be exaggerated to make
For
sure that you
safety.
stayed safe. That's what it was. It wasn't we did it better. No, it was because I have to make sure that I have some masculine features because it's safer for me. So that means it is going to be exaggerated. So it is going to be more makeup. It's going to be more everything because you're trying to overemphasize those feminine features. And I get it.
Yeah, I understand
With
it.
all due respect, hi everybody, how y'all doing? With all due
Hello.
respect, I think you should really ask us why it happened as opposed to assuming, because
So
honestly, I don't
Danielle,
even
hold
think.
on, Danielle, 1 second, because you just got here. You don't think we've been having a conversation with the two ladies that's on the panel that are both trans women? You don't think we already been having a conversation with them? You
I
think?
was in the room. I was in the
No,
room
that's
for
the
a minute.
problem. So don't assume
Oh
that
my
we
god,
haven't asked the
shade.
question. We have. We've been talking to
I
two
wasn't.
different women.
No shade, Annie.
I have
Me and
been
Angie,
listening. I've
are
been
first
listening.
hand ballroom girls. That's right.
I've been listening all the while.
But don't
Um,
don't dismiss them. They're up here and they've been able to
Oh,
speak.
Danielle, girl, you're fish. You're cute.
Thank you, sis. I don't know why you think I'm dismissing anybody, because I'm not dismissing trans women, anybody in this room at all, actually. I just wanted to add my perspective to it as a trans woman. You know what I mean? That's all.
Okay,
And
go
that
ahead.
perspective is, sis, that um first of all, we're not even considering the fact. I don't think of the things in the duality like that, like I'm trying to be something or anything. If anything, I feel like our community gives cis women their respect because we all came from a woman. That's just point blank simple. And so I don't even feed into that like false dichotomy, us against them, y'all against us. No, no, we got more things to worry about in this world than that. I don't even think about things in those terms. That's not even how. Indeed, like drag queens came about as a show and the highest form of flattery of women, all women, right? And not just men created the whole society together is creating what we think about a woman is. It's not just men that has just like superimposed this on cis women or trans people have superimposed our ideology of what a woman is. We are all collectively coming to an understanding about what makes a woman and what makes a man in our society. Whether you're trans, whether you're a drag queen, whether you are, cis, whether you're a woman born woman, whatever that is. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I wanted to say. I respect any woman. I respect any woman, trans or otherwise. I respect all women.
Yeah, I think that you're you're coming from a place, but the conversation has been very divided. There is what was just said before you came up here was social just was saying that and they can repeat themselves that this idea of femininity that cisgender women borrow came from
Trans
trans
woman.
women.
We started all the trends or the trans trenders.
Well, that's just one perspective, but I'm telling you, I transitioned in the 1990s. I began transitioning because I think transition is a lifelong process. But I began transition in the 1990s. You know what I'm saying? So I've been me a very long time, and I'm telling you, for me, right? And I stand by other trans women or other women on this panel who have a different perspective. But for me, it has never been a situation where we're at odds with one another. It's always been a situation where, like the previous person that was up here said, for safety reasons, we did have to like make sure that we were able to walk down the street without getting,
Oh, 100%,
jumped or
yeah.
anything like that.
Girl, it was like that in like maybe like till like 2012,
So
11.
how are you the creator of what being a woman is if you had to do contour to pass as it? Like what are you contouring your face to? What is it? What features are you trying to get if you're creating them?
Well, I have not had any facial surgery. I don't. I'm just me. I mean, but that
No,
doesn't
that's
mean
not talking
anything.
about you
Oh,
specifically. I'm
can I
saying in
talk about the
general
contour real quick?
Go ahead.
to answer that.
Can I ask about the contour? Well, the contour was to make our faces more white.
White?
Because yes, powders and contours what we used to wear to make our faces white. Because in the ballroom scene and in drag
No,
scene.
she's talking about walking down the street because we mixing the two. So now we done moved on to being able to for safety to walk down the street because the
I was like
contention
walking
right
down the street.
now,
Oh
the
yeah, we have to pass to
contention
walk down the street. Yeah.
I know, but the contention right now is that we're talking about getting out of this binary, getting out of this restrictive role that is put onto women, and you're saying that women are borrowing things from trans women, even though trans women are having to do things to their face to resemble being a cisgender woman for safety. Is confusing because if we are taking something from you, but you're doing something that is naturally happening, generally speaking, with women, that doesn't make sense. It's confusing. And that's where the divide comes in because it's like, why is this a competition? The reality to me is simple. You were born in the wrong body. You were born in the wrong body. You were supposed to be born a a female, a female human. You were supposed to be born that way. You wasn't. So you are going through the steps for you to align your body with your mental. But this other conversation about cisgender women borrowing something is strange because it should simply be, oh my God, there was a mistake that happened. And that's what can happen with humans. Mistakes can happen with humans. And I'm a perfect example. I'm a trans woman because I was born in the wrong body. And if things would have been done right, I would have been born as a female human. But that's
You're a
not the
trans
conversation.
woman.
That's weird.
But I want to say this too.
Wait. You're a trans woman.
I don't think she's saying she's
No,
trans. She's just using that as an
No.
example.
So
I'm
I
a
want to say, this, and this becomes another problem too, because it's like, you insinuate the features of a woman, right? But not all women have an hourglass shape.
Wait, what's the woman's features that were
Hold on, real
insinuating?
quick. Hold on, because we know it. Like, let's be real. When you put the pad in your thighs, like you're trying to get an hourglass shape. You're insinuating an hourglass shape. But that's only one type of woman. That's the problem. So now for women who like you may be apple shaped, pear shaped, that becomes the standard is the hourglass shape. And if you don't have the hourglass shape, you see in real time women, cisgender women are having surgery or argumentating their bodies because they feel like, oh, my body isn't woman enough. I need to look more like this figure. That's what I'm saying. The standard that's been set is harmful.
Right, and I'll tell you why we actually started that. When we look at femi queens, not femme queens, but femi queens, the 80s trans women, we did put silicone in their bodies to get the hourglass bodies, and even until like the late 2000s, like late 2010s, we did that. Not even like late 2010s, like 2015, 16, we did that. All silicone, all pumps. We did all of that. But drag really created that. The hourglass bodies, the big hips, the big butts, the big boobs, the
They
big
didn't create
feet.
it. They exaggerated and mimicked that. That's
Yeah,
what
but
we're
they
saying.
created the
That's one
style.
body
So,
that was exaggerated and mimicked. It's a
Yeah,
Tara
but
is
no
right.
woman was looking like that.
oh, but
Hold
Winnie,
on one
can I
second.
go after you, Drika?
Yeah, you could go after me. Hold on one second. Let's get a clear framework. Tara is right that all women, all female human beings, are not shaped the same way, but that is a natural body type for said female human species. That is a natural thing that happens due to childbirth, whatever. That is a shape that can happen naturally. So there are drag queens who imitated that shape, exaggerated it, and then it became a norm. Yes, but it still started with trying to attain that look that happens naturally with the female human. I don't know why it's an argument against that. But hold
Yeah,
on,
because
let's
when
Prince
it was
get his
stated
turn.
earlier, I immediately thought of Sarah Bartman. Like,
Damn it,
um,
Tara.
oh, go ahead
Go
then.
ahead, Prince.
No, that's a good damn it though, because I was just about to say that. Like the desire for the curvaceous features came from the exploitation of Sarah Bartman and her body. So that desire to have the big boobs, the exaggerated butts, and the shapely hips came from colonial eyes trying to, I guess, eat like colonial eyes and that desire for a black woman's body. So to say that the reason why women want that is because of the trans body is not true, not
That's
historically, and it's not factually true.
that's where my confusion is that it's this idea to pretend like cisgender women are like non-factors. Like I just keep coming back to that scene from Love Basketball Wives when fucking whatever Eva, whatever that bitch name was like, you a non-motherfucking factor. I keep hearing that term be unsaid, but it's like you a non-factor. Yes, cisgender women are. And I don't know why it's nothing wrong with acknowledging that. And it's nothing wrong with acknowledging that yes, you're right, trans women did create this idea that we see. That is, I do believe that I do believe that it's a trans woman's aesthetic that we see in modern times when we think about the Irie Fletcher, and all the Instagram models. I definitely think that is the trans woman's aesthetic at this point, but it still is simply an exaggerated version of a female human's body. That's
And yeah,
all it is.
yeah,
Can
and that's what I'm
can
saying. It's
can
like
I de-
taking,
can I
um,
debunk that real quick? Because I've heard this a lot. Oh, there's a transgender, trans woman aesthetic, and oh, the surge, everything else is like the surgery is getting more praise than what it is being natural. Point blank. Period. Me, I don't. Out of years that I've transitioned, I don't have any work done on me. Period.
Hmm.
The thing is that when I hear other women, and I'm, saying cisgender women, and when I tell them, oh, I'm a trans woman, they were, well, I thought the trans woman was, the girls who got surgeries and everything else, but you just look so different though. That's because not only the hormones help me to align, or, it's an alignment. On top of that, it's genetics as well. Because the women in my family naturally have big breasts, thighs, hips, butt, all of that. And I didn't think that I was going to, carry on with that as well
Yeah,
because I
that
was born
happened.
male. But
No,
the
that
thing is
happened.
that what people don't understand is that there is no such thing as an aesthetic when it comes to being feminine. There's no aesthetic when it comes to that. When I think of aesthetic, I think of looks. But the thing is that when it comes to certain ways of cisgender women, and on top of that, my great grandmother was a plus size model back in around those times. Oh, Mom, was it back in the 60s?
70.
in the
Girls,
70s.
no.
And that's the only woman who I looked up to. The only woman who put a book on my mother's head when she was a little girl and said that this is the reason why you should always keep your head held high. And this was planted in the baton, and the baton and the torch was passed on to me when I came out as a trans woman. So the thing is that we're sitting over here praising surgeries and other touch ups about ourselves and stuff, and there's nothing wrong with that because I salute the girls. I salute the girls with credit when it's due, rather if you are a cisgender woman and a trans woman, because at the same time, when you sit over here and try to look in the mirror and try to fix those insecurities that you're so insecure about, the thing is that like you want to fix those places though, and that's okay. The only reason why it's not okay in society is because men has always perpetuated the fact that, oh, if you get this done, then you're not natural.
Hold on, let Tara go ahead, Tara.
Well, the part I was talking about is because it don't matter the trans community or whatever community, the standard is again the hourglass shape, and it's because and it's because that's what, and yeah, it's a standard set by men. Men are saying that's what they want, so it end up being like the male gaze. What I'm saying is like if you are a woman, because like one of the things I'm pretty sure you can admit that when you got the hips and stuff, you was like that's something you wanted. You felt like that was a win for you, of course, because that's the standard. And what I'm saying is a flat chested woman who got narrow hips now is like, oh, you're not woman enough because this is the standard for what a woman is. This we have and the problem is as a cisgender woman that could be oppressive as hell because you're like, yeah, it's an insecurity, but should it even be an insecurity? Like why do we have like this specific body type that's saying like that's it, that's the one to get passed, that's the one who's gonna get the compliments or whatever, no matter who is on. But like what does that do for everyone else? Like it harms everyone is what I'm saying.
I'm
Absolutely.
just saying, I think that we have to acknowledge that yes, males created this image of what women should be. What we find excuse me, what we find attractive, right? And but it's also YT males that do that, right? And because they are the ones who saturate our reality with advertisements and all of that. What so collectively, I think we are all contributing to what makes somebody quote unquote attractive or sexy or whatever have you. And so I think it's not good to come at it from one perspective, thinking that trans women exacerbated that situation or push the narrative. I don't hear nobody saying that, but I'm just saying I would caution everybody to understand that there are multiple things working to determine what's sexy and what's not, and what's attractive and what's womanhood and what is not.
But that's what I've been wanting to have this conversation for because that's what's being said. Like that, like it's been a conversation where, saying that cis women are jealous of trans women, and then trans women are saying it's because they are the epitome of femininity. They are what men desire. And that is harmful because what the fuck are we talking about, and why is everything going back to men? Because the conversation is for somebody who has an attraction for something other than a man. What they say about me? Why am I being harmed though? Because on one end is people who being affirmed in their identity and being praised for being ultrally feminine is what affirms their identity for them. And then in other people, it's like you viewing me a certain type of way is harmful because you think I could be in the grocery store and because you think I look good because I got the hips and the ass or whatever, you can approach me. And if I say no, you can take my life. We have it two different conversations, even though it also does happen within on the other side too. That is happening too. Your once you step into being quote unquote passable, you end up having a different experience with these men than you did maybe when you were a femboy. I don't know. But that's the harm that we're talking about. And we don't talk about that part. We spend so much more time arguing about who is the epitome of femininity. And I'm telling you, as a cisgender woman, you can fucking have it. I don't fuck it. I
Well,
wanna live. You
and
got
I'm telling you as a trans woman, sis, I support you. I applaud you. I think the version of womanhood you exhibit is good enough, if not excellent, superb. I don't really hear that in that space. I hear, I mean, trans women are like cisgender women. It's all of us,
mm,
different kinds of women, different kinds of perspectives. I never felt like I never even think of that way like that, us against them, us against you, or you against
mm,
us. I don't think about things in that way. And I think woe is a woman who has fragile womanhood. If you're intimidated by, I don't care if it's trans or cis, if you're intimidated by another woman, then that means that you need to go look in the mirror and deal with yourself. And I'm not talking about you to our host. I'm not talking about you, young lady. I'm not being disrespectful to anybody. I'm just bringing up the point that fragile womanhood is crazy to me. What I hear from Angie, Angie respects her mom. Her mom is sitting right there. So obviously she has at least a modicum of respect for the cisgender woman who brought her into this world. And that's the same as it has been for my case. I I hear sisterhood from you, our host, and the other women in here. I hear sisterhood. I don't hear nobody talking bad about anybody. But I will acknowledge you're not making what you're saying, you're not making it up. I will acknowledge there are a few of women, trans women, that I've heard like push that narrative. Like so, but they're not, I don't know if they're in the room or not. I can't speak to that. I'm just telling you, I've been me for a very long time. We talk about 25 years plus,
mm,
and it's woe is a fragile woman. If you stand beside a woman, if I'm standing beside a woman in the grocery store, whether she's cis or trans, and I'm like, tr- you know, tripping off of what she doing and how she inhabit her body and take up space and stuff, then that's the insecurity in me. Like, it ain't got nothing to do with her. I can't put that on her. Like, I need to step my womanhood up.
yeah.
That's kind of dangerous rhetoric, though. No shade.
We're here to talk about ourselves.
Because you don't need to push up your femininity if you're trans, because you just putting effort into your transition is enough. Because we have the Latinos and the oh, not Jeffrey Bezos, bitch. We have all these Latinos and like people looking like that walking around. And Danielle, girl, you're a fish compared to like a lot of trans girls that I've seen. Because I am in New York City, there's a lot of trans girls, a lot of femboys that pass as trans. And Angie could say that too, no shade. But yeah, no shade, you look
But,
passing.
sister, that's first of all, I haven't always passed. I've been knocked into the bushes, hanging out with friends. I've had people, come after me and stuff. I remember when we, be out on the
But
stroll.
that's what makes us
I
stronger.
Yes, but I want to be clear that that's not. You were taking issue with something I wasn't even saying, so I don't know how to be clearer. I don't know what I said wrong to in that space just before, and I'm happy, but to address that. But I didn't hear you. I don't understand why you're not understanding what I'm saying or why you took issue with what I'm saying. If you could help me, I greatly appreciate it. And I do acknowledge what you're saying. I have privilege. I mean, I have
Right,
privilege. Yeah, yeah. I have passing privilege.
right. Because I heard you talking down yourself a couple minutes ago, and I was just like, girl, what?
I wasn't talking. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I'm not talking down to myself though. I, I don't know what I said wrong, but I don't do that.
Um, I'm not sure either. A lot of stuff I'm confused about, but I did notice that social when social was giving you a compliment, she said you fish, and that's on the prompt, and that's what we've been talking about, and then she said that you have passing privilege. So I'm connecting the dots because that's what we've been saying, that the term fish is used as a compliment to trans women who are passable.
Oh,
Who
no, no. It's the same thing as saying, like, like, cunt. Like, you're giving, like, it girl, like, baddie, like, tea. Like, you're giving that girl, like, you're giving fish.
So, but I guess my question to that is why is it why are those terms Like, why are you using derogatory terms for
Well, it was
female
never a
genitalia?
derogatory term. So let me keep that straight. Fishy
I would like
is different from
to
fish.
add some
Like I've
context to
said,
that, though.
I'm
fish in
trying
the
to add some
70s made
context to
by
it.
GAY men. I've said multiple times on a panel, and you can find on interviews, was invented by GAY men to call trans women because we were seen the same. Just two-step verifications of them. They would call us fish because that was the silicone era.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I get that context, but I'm adding a different context to that. So if you will let me speak, I can show you my perspective and why I'm saying that.
Yeah, go ahead.
So kind of pause for a minute. Let me finish. Let me cook. So when I say like those terms are derogatory, it's coming from my field of research that goes beyond the 60s and 70s. I am talking about in the advent of the print press, which is like the 15th and 16th century, right? Where you would see men will use fish monikers as a way to insult or to bring a derogatory context to the women of the night who were prostitutes of that era, saying, oh, it's better to lie with a fish than it is to lie with a prostitute. Or if you lie with a prostitute, you'll turn into a fish. That is where I'm coming from. So given that historical context, a woman's genitalia being described as fish is derogatory. And going to the CUNT word, that even outside of the community, right, is used as a derogatory means to call a woman something disgusting, insulting. Like those are fighting words outside of the community. So when women
My
are
husband is
saying,
different.
hold on, let me finish.
Well, you're spreading rhetoric that's not
It's
true.
not rhetoric. I'm telling you, I
It
study
is.
this.
You're
I
telling me things that
study
are part of
this.
my community, baby.
Why
You're
can't
Not
you're
hold on?
studying
social.
things that nobody even had the
Why
technology
can't
to
Social.
get
he
to
finish?
back in 1950.
Hold on,
Who had the
Sophie.
technology from 50?
Hold on. I don't know why she can't finish speaking about something that does not have anything to do with why they use the term in ballroom. She's giving the historical explanation of it that men used it originally. I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna let you finish. I don't know what's the difficult thing with being able to imagine that men who might use these disparaging words against women also may be GAY. They probably are GAY, and maybe they introduced it to the community, and the community said, "Hold on, we're not gonna talk about that. We're gonna use it for this." I don't know why that's hard to conceptualize, but go ahead, Prince. Finish your point.
Okay, my point being is that in the greater world outside of the LGBTQIA plus and the trans and ballroom community, fish and CUNT have deeply negative connotations historically and visually. So when women are telling you, or cis women are telling you that it's a slur, why is that not being taken into consideration? Like words have context outside of your community. Like why is that not being considered? And I'll land there.
I think she did consider it. I mean, she only used fish when referring to me. But I mean, I hear you clearly. I mean, you're saying that there is this historical context for fish being fish and the CUNT word, certainly the CUNT word being having negative connotation around them, right? And being used as a slur when directed towards women who were born women, right? Cis women. So I think we get that. I don't. I mean, I didn't hear her call another a cis
No,
woman
and I
in this
know. So
case.
hold on, Danielle, because
Mhm.
that's been a thing. Like
So
it's been
oh
a
yeah,
need.
sorry.
It's been a need to compare, like to say, well, I'm not calling you that. I am talking to a sister, and what I'm saying is, when you think about misogyny, the misogyny is so deep that there's a community of people who have co-opted a word that they are able to give compliments to other people who are passing as something because they had to transition into it. because the misogyny is so deep. They do not see, they, it's not even a thought. It's like, and nobody wants to connect that prior to it being a trans woman, prior to there being a woman who can express who she really is, there was trans women in in 1865 who never got the transition. But so what does that mean about their existence? That means they lived and unalive as something that they wasn't. So we can understand that concept. Let's move it forward. Let's say in 1950 there was a man who had to live as a man when they really was a trans woman, and they get the opportunity in 1968 to start doing drag, and then they get the opportunity in their later years, they're damn near retiring, whatever you want to call it, in 1980, and they like, no, I can finally live my truth as a trans woman. I've been a trans woman. You don't think they will carry on the misogyny that they had to survive with, or that they not experience, the misogyny that they learned from being conditioned to be a man for
Absolutely.
all those
I
years?
agree.
That's what
I
we're
agree with
talking
you.
about.
But yes, but you're just saying water is wet, beloved. I'm not trying to be funny or nothing. There are people who will absolutely, people of a marginalized and oppressed group oftentimes appropriate words and slurs. It's, listen, it's
But
never
when
going to
you
be
say
okay.
I'm saying waters is
Can I,
wet, that
can I
is
just,
offensive, because my the words I'm saying, if water was wet and it was so easy, we wouldn't be arguing about it. It would be
I'm not
understood.
arguing about it. I'm trying to explain to you that
Okay, go
it's
ahead.
all it's, sister. All I'm trying to say is there are all kind of women in this space and in this world, right? Some women don't have the couth or the wherewithal to respect other women, no matter whether you are a drag queen, trans woman, or a cis woman. There are going to be women like that, and I acknowledge the historical context in which I think it's Sprint um brought up the whole matter. I mean, and how it has been used, and it's harmful. It's absolutely harmful to use that word and that language with cisgender women. Okay, I absolutely 100% acknowledge that. That's all I'm trying to say here. I acknowledge it as a trans woman. I would never use it towards you. You told me how you feel about it. Not gonna happen. I'm not gonna use it ever. I can't
My
speak to the women who
question,
are uncouth.
I think my question was lost in this conversation because my initial question is, if fish, now that we know the context of the words fish and cunt outside of the community, right? Why would you still want to be called that though? If it's derogatory, why not
But
why not change it to something else?
Because it's a lingo that was talked. It started off as a slur for us too.
So
But
then why not turn it
but the
into,
people who made it
okay.
changed it into something better. And we took it as their own, just like how people did with the N-word. Started off as a slur. Black people took it for themselves. It's just like that. I mean, it's like if we take our culture, because we were called fish because of the silicone era, right?
No,
But
you said that they were using the word fish as a slur
yeah.
to you, GAY men. So
Hmm.
even when they were using it towards you, it was because they were seeing you as a version of a woman. They were still disrespecting women, but you don't have the body part that they're disparaging to be able to say, "Oh, let me reclaim it." I do understand why it was a part. I get that. I get, and I even understand I even as much as I don't like it, with me understanding what I understand now and some of these conversations, I get the hesitation you have. Like, I can hear and understand the hesitation you have. Look, babe, let me put it like this so we can stop going back and forth and reiterating the same thing. This isn't a conversation. I don't got this ain't a conversation say if you gonna get canceled or something. I don't got the power. We've been up in here, it's been us and at the most 30 people in here. I don't got the power to shut them down. I just want to start a conversation. So you like all we're doing is acknowledging it. I think Prince asked a good question. You don't gotta deny. I mean, I hear you denying it because it's like it's a part of the ballroom culture. It's a part of your culture. But now that you have the information, now that we have the answer, all we gotta do and what people do to be better is process it. We're not gonna process it right now. I think we came to a place where You heard what she said. You answered the question based on how you feel and how you experience it. My pushback is if you don't have the area, the genitalia to reclaim it, it's not a fair thing to do. In the same way that Latin people can't say that they can say the N-word just because they got proximity to black folk. All you gotta do, you don't have to listen to nothing I say. You can leave here and say, man, fuck that bitch, I don't care. All I'm saying is process what I'm saying, and maybe you will, or maybe you won't change your mind. But we don't have to keep reiterating it. We just need to process and hear each other out. And for the most part, although it was difficult in some areas, I do think y'all stayed up here. We had a respectful conversation. Y'all heard us out. That's all it's about, is being heard. That's the point. We want to be heard, just like you might want to be heard. Prince, I'll cut you off. Go ahead. And then Danielle, I see you could go after Prince.
Yeah, no, you basically like said what I was going to say. It's like, it's just something to consider. Like even with the N word, even in what am I trying to say? With the example of the N word, there has been generational conversations about within the Black community about if we should still use the word or not, giving the context. So the conversations are happening. That's what I'm trying to get to as well, is like, will it be possible at some point to get to the conversation where it's like, maybe we should change it to something else or retire the terms altogether. We're not there yet. I don't think we'll be there yet for a long time, but it's just something to consider.
So I'm gonna just say this. I think, hold on real quick. I want to say this. I'm gonna be honest. I think going down to like, consider the word is kind of minimizing the conversation too at the same time, right? I think what's happened and like from us having these conversations and the things that we observing is that like in the trans community, especially amongst the trans women that we've been communicating with, there's a lot of misogyny. So it's not just the word itself, it's the meaning behind it. Like fuck the word. What do you like we're not addressing the feelings behind it. Like there's a lot of misogyny in trans spaces, and when I'm listening, like it's not being clocked, it's not being called out or nothing. It's just like it's a key and keep it moving. Like that's not cool. Because it's misogyny is misogyny. Like if you say we both women, then why the fuck you cool with this shit? Why you don't have a problem? Why am I the one upset? Something ain't right about that.
I think it's important for us not to make a monster in the bedroom closet that's not there. And I'm not trying, and I am in no way trying to poo-poo what you just said. But you got to realize, no, okay,
No.
well then that's going to be. Let me finish because that's going to be your opinion, and I respect it. But if you notice, nobody in this space called another cis woman that slur. That we've
No.
already,
That's what
we've
she's
You
all.
perfectly
saying.
missing my point.
That's what
No,
her
I'm not.
point is.
But just first of all, you're
Now
not
we
even letting me finish. Now you're
because you
not letting
making
me
a
finish.
gaslighting is crazy.
No,
See how you raising your voice at me? Let that shit come out. Why are you upset with me?
I'm not upset with you. You just keep
No.
cutting me
You
off.
can't.
All I'm saying
You
is
giving nice nasty
don't
right
come.
now.
No,
No.
I'm
Be
not. All I'm
honest.
saying is no. What I'm saying to you is please stop cutting me off. But you apparently had something you wanted to say, so go ahead. You got it.
Nigga, because I don't like the passive aggressiveness. It's like I'm not a fan. Like,
Wait,
because I literally specified in the conversations that we had, because it's like, oh well, nobody said this in the last 20 minutes, so that can't be true. I know what the fuck I'm hearing and what's happening, and the reality is in
So
trans
somebody in this
spaces.
space.
No, there you go. Go ahead, do it.
No, I'm asking for clarity. Somebody in this space called you something you didn't want to be
No. See,
called.
that's what I'm saying. Now
Well,
this conversation.
that's crazy to me because
no,
we can't
because what it
speak.
sounds
We
like is
can't
being
speak to y'all
gaslit.
doing that. Y'all moving the goalposts.
Who's y'all? I'm one
No.
person.
And
You moving the goalposts
no,
because
we
I
not
can't
moving
speak
the
to what
goalposts.
somebody.
The reason why the conversation is being had is because of the other trans women and what they've been talking about. And I've
Okay.
been playing
Are
clips.
they in this space?
Okay, but like
Wait,
I'm,
that's not.
but like
Hold
I'm
on
going to
one
say,
second.
I'm
Hold on,
sorry.
hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Whenever the trans woman go live about cis women being jealous of trans women every day, the cis women who might be jealous ain't in her space, but she talk about it every day. So don't do that. Don't police over here. We can talk about our experience with the misogyny, and the thing that's weird is that you're not offended by the misogyny, and you're a woman. That's the weird part. It's not that it's
No, you didn't
isolated
hear me
to
say I wasn't
certain
offended.
women. It's all
You
women.
heard,
The word "see you next Tuesday" should be offensive to all women, not just cisgender women, but it's not offensive to all women because some women don't have that body part and they don't give a fuck about it. That's the T. That's the
no,
problem.
I acknowledge the fact. I'm going to acknowledge the fact that it's hurtful and it has a negative connotation. We haven't even talked about the fish being used as like to taunt women about a smell and all that kind of stuff and how it's historically been used. We haven't even talked about that. So obviously, I acknowledge that. I don't use the word. I don't use either one of the two words. So I can't speak to that. That's all I'm saying.
The thing is that like what's going on is that I hear a lot of frustration, a lot of feelings getting into this topic or whatever and stuff too, and I understand. But the thing is that the frustrating has to be out on the common denominator, not on trans women, because at the end of the day, that yes, there are some trans women that are extremely ignorant and very like when it comes to very ignorant. I want to say that there are some that are very extremely ignorant, and some of the things that they use is politic point of views. The thing is that when they sit over here and try to talk about us as me, Danielle, and social, they tend to have this tactical feeling like, oh, we're attacking, or we're picking, or we're sitting over here trying to gaslight or whatever. No. The thing is that when we're hearing each other from each side of the room to understand a clear understanding on how we can move forward and stuff, when it comes to the patriarchal performative, when it comes to the close proximity to gaining power and to, the supremacies and stuff too on both sides of genders or gender roles and stuff. The thing is that what people are not understanding or not hearing more clear is the fact that people are misguiding when it comes to misogyny and misogynoir altogether. The thing is that like when we can sit over here and talk about, oh well, we don't want trans women to say this such and such thing. The thing is that this is the same proximity of what men says to women every single day.
No.
Yes, it is.
And let me
Let me tell
clarify
you
my.
something. Let me tell you something, Miss Terry, because I'm a content creator and I'm very deep into this, and I'm gonna talk to big misogynistic men before, and if the same shit that people are policing onto trans women and other women is the same thing that men are saying. I read the
Oh
blogs
wait, hold
every
on. So
single
wait,
day.
what?
I'm
Clarify. Clarify.
hold on. Let me land real quick. The thing is that I read the blogs every day. I hear men sit over here and talk about other women who was more successful, who got things going on for themselves, and they sit over here and talk about, oh, she don't make more money than the next average man and stuff. Oh, she shouldn't wear this. Oh, this little girl shouldn't wear this. And they talk about little black girls and how they should prove themselves into society at a very young age, and that's very predatory. And we
Are
don't
you
not talk about
comparing?
that.
Hold on. Are you comparing us having a conversation about the term misogyny and the term fish being a slur to men dictating what women wear?
It's part of misogyny, ain't it? It's
Hold
part of the
on. Wait,
patriarchal
what?
performative, ain't it?
Hold on. I'm confused. So let's slow down. I'm
The
confused.
reason why you're so confused, host, is because you don't hear it every single day that
No, no,
other women
no.
does.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm confused in this moment at what you're correlating. So are you saying that us talking about misogyny in the community and the example we're using is fish being a slur to how men try to police women?
The reason why it's used as a derogatory slur is because people do not know what it means. They take things because they hear from another person, and then after that they want to twist it and turn it around as if that this is their own lingo. And because they hear the word fish, they think of a foul smell. They think of something that's very vile, or something that's is very like it's a very awful smell. But when we use fish, we're sitting over here talking about, we're using it
It's a
as a
term of
compliment.
endearment. Yeah, it's a term of endearment in our community. And I think we
Yeah,
all acknowledge
I
that
don't
in
think
this
people
Hold
space.
are,
up, hold up, hold
but I
up,
don't think
hold
people
up.
are understanding there are
But
different
but
sides.
also let me just
No,
say this.
hold up.
The
Because I was waiting
word
for
the
her.
word has been
No.
used by
Hold on.
I
men
was waiting for her
mostly
to finish the
as
response.
offensive. But y'all do realize that
Hold
the
up.
man,
Hold up.
Hold
y'all
on,
do
Hold up.
realize,
Danielle, hold on, because y'all are repeating.
but then she cut me
No,
off.
no,
She
because
cut
I'm
me
No,
off.
100%
hold on, whoa, whoa,
correct.
whoa. What's going on? Because y'all are y'all are talking.
Yes, I'm being repetitive because, host,
It's
you're not
No,
like,
but
like
I
cognitive
already
dissonance at this
understand
point.
it.
no,
Hold
because you're
on.
only, listen, you're
Hold
only understanding to
on.
respond, but you're not,
No, I'm not understanding to respond. That's what you're doing. You're
maybe because I'm in the
projecting.
community and I'm sitting over here trying
No,
to
you're
tell you.
projecting. No, you're projecting.
I'm
Because
projecting.
I'm going to tell you, because y'all need to calm down. You're
No,
projecting.
babe, I'm from New
You're,
York. This is
you're
how I
projecting.
talk.
You're projecting.
How am I projecting if I have not even went to the close proximity of having the understanding of trying to understand other women of how they've
Oh my
experienced it?
gosh. So if I understand, I'm going to say it
Come on now.
slow. If I understand that the term fish amongst trans women, drag queens, GAYs, ballroom, whatever you want to call it, if I understand that the word is used as a compliment, as a term of endearment, why are you acting like I'm confused about that?
Who said it?
Because you're putting it on us to explain why the word is being used in the first
No,
place.
no,
You
no,
don't have
I'm
to.
not. That's how I
We
know y'all not
okay,
listening to me.
okay, but
What I'm
I'm
I want you to
listening to.
saying,
I've been
know.
on
What
y'all
I'm
panel for
I,
an
saying,
I
hour.
hold
you
on, hold
yes,
on,
specifically
hold on.
you
This is why
yes.
y'all can't hear. Cause now I done broke the confusion. Cause I said the same thing y'all said. I get it. Now y'all want to talk over me. Cause
Nobody said that.
now that I said I understand exactly that it's a word of endearment and that the term is used as a compliment. Now y'all don't want me to finish. I am saying that being women and us understanding how deep misogyny goes, I want you to rethink why the term would even be used within yourself. And when you connect the
Already
dots,
articulated why we don't use the word. Where were you when we said that?
You're
We all
yelling at
said
the
that.
because
host.
hold
Why are you yelling?
this what
Here,
happened.
I need you to come off from you
This
and
what
defend
no
her because I
Danielle. This
wasn't
what
yelling at the
happened.
host.
and
Y'all,
here,
You are
y'all not
yelling though.
and
listening.
then
That's the
Go
here,
ahead.
and
Respect
then
for
problem.
here's
everybody in
the,
here. I got mad respect for everybody
Hold
in
You're
here.
on.
yelling, but you're yelling though. So why are we doing
and
that?
here's the,
Oh my
and
Don't
gosh.
police me, sugar. Don't
Oh
police me,
my
please.
goodness. Oh my gosh.
and then when it comes to having, and so
Angie,
when it has, when it comes,
why are we going in circles about something that we understand? We understand
why is it the
what
fact
the
that when
term
it's trans women is
means.
having a conversation
What
with
the
you, here comes people talking about, are you being misogynistic?
you
your male
are
pattern, your male ball
misogynistic.
pattern is
That's
showing.
what it
Here
is.
comes the man jumping out.
so I
But
was
we
trying to
can,
clarify this,
but
but
when it
Hold
comes
on,
to
Angie.
you,
Go ahead.
hold
Go
on, wait a
ahead.
minute. But when
No,
it,
because you're
that's
repeating
the
yourself.
thing.
Go
Like,
ahead, Sarah.
no, because I was trying
I
to.
see what's going on now. I see what's going on.
That's fine, but that's the thing. It's like now I'm trying to clarify, which is crazy because like I said, like the word whatever, I don't give a fuck. That's not my concern. And you talking about like the men? That's the thing. We're saying the men are misogynistic. We're saying that women are dealing with internalized misogyny. We're saying that the misogyny in society is being fucking is a problem. But we're also saying that in the trans community, because let's be for real, because you say, you calling me cunt and fish, but you say that it's supposed to be good when that woman looks a certain way. And we're saying that that is harmful and that in the way it is misogynistic. And you don't want to hear that.
So
That's
can
the
I, Miss Tara?
problem.
Can I ask you a question?
I
What's
acknowledged
hold
it
on? Wait a
over and
minute,
over
Danielle.
again.
Wait 1 second, sister. What's more harmful, being called a bitch and a hoe in the street, or be called cunt and fish and stuff out of
And see,
endearment or compliment?
this where it end up at. I can't say nothing to you because I only can talk about what men do. But when I go talk about the
Right.
chat,
So we should
no,
have a
hold on. So
conversation.
you
So
don't want to
know,
answer. You
right.
just
So
want to
the common
talk.
You
denominator
asked her a
is men,
question.
of course. Men is the common denominator. That's
Can I
who we
ask a
need to
question?
converse with and have a
No,
conversation with.
Why
we
y'all
still
cutting Tara
talking.
off? Tara was talking and trying to
But
answer
go ahead. I
Angie's
apologize for interrupting.
question.
I
She
apologize. Go ahead.
interrupted. Go ahead, Tara.
All I'm saying is, it's like yeah, we know men are the motherfucking problem. But my thing is, why are women being a target? There are a lot of trans women in spaces targeting women, cisgender women, as if we are the one oppressing them, as if we are the ones upholding the system, as we are the motherfucking problem, and at the same time talking about appealing to men. And it's like, okay, this is misogynistic. And it's like, oh, you can't say nothing. Go talk to the men. Go talk about the men. Don't say what we doing over here. No, it's misogynistic. I don't care if it's a bunch of men up here. I don't care if it's a bunch of women up here, trans women, whoever. It's misogynistic. But I can't say that, right? Because it's like I'm not allowed to give criticism on that. And
It's
just,
internalized misogyny.
just say you don't give a fuck about what I'm saying. God damn. Just say that. Say I don't give a fuck about what you saying. I'm gonna keep cutting you off and asserting myself.
Miss Sarah, you are going based off of emotions, and I
No,
can
no, no,
understand where
no.
you
This
going
is the
from.
reality
Can I
of what's
please say
happening.
something,
Yo,
please?
you're cutting
You
me off in
are
real
because I'm
time.
not.
And
It's not
then
the
y'all
fact that
want
I'm
to get in
cutting you
so
off.
bad that she
It's
can't even
not
let the
the fact that I'm
conversation
cutting
Girl,
you
go.
if I
off.
wanted to get in, I would just get
No,
in.
no,
That's
but
all.
that's
Go
the
ahead.
thing.
Go ahead. Go
So
ahead.
ain't nobody
So
going nowhere at this point.
here's what I would like to say. Right. You have trans women of all kinds.
Go ahead, Sarah.
All
Yeah,
this come down to
say
is
drop.
Yeah.
no, all this come down to is calling out the misogyny with trans women, and some of the things y'all saying that like it feels good for you is harmful to women. You saying a woman is jealous and not you doing womenhood better because you look a certain way because this is what men desire. What the fuck? That's what we fighting against. And you don't, and then we can't say that's harmful because niggas out there doing something. If that's the case, stop fucking with them then. And nobody fuck with them
And
because it's crazy.
you want to know something, Miss Tara? I didn't transition for a man. That's the thing. I didn't transition
I'm
for
not talking
validation.
about you.
I didn't.
That's the thing. Y'all
I'm
keep
not
saying
saying no. I'm not. Because all I know is Angie. Okay. I live with Angie. I wake up with Angie every single day. I wake up in my own insecurities and my own securities. That's the thing. I didn't be with. Listen, I didn't be with the man to be a trans woman. And I didn't be a trans woman to be just with a man. The thing is that I don't look for validation. I don't look for male validation. I don't go out here and be stripped naked and talking about, well, a man will accept me because I'm a trans woman. No, I don't do all of that. The thing is that what people don't understand is that when we have the levels of emotions, especially when we having a conversation, have to intellect with each other, it's like, sister, I hear you, okay? I understand. I have conversations with my sisters outside of TikTok, outside of social media, because how can I feel you over a voice recorder? Because
But
I
you
have to
don't,
understand
you
I have to
but one
understand both
thing,
sides of the room
it's not
because I
about
can't.
the men. It is about the women though, because the conversation has been about y'all doing womanhood better than us. So I believe you, and you
And
saying
I
it's not
called them
about the
out on
men, but
that. I
there.
called them out on that because at the end of the day, Miss Dark, I come from 7 generation of black women.
Okay, hold on, Angie.
I
Hold
didn't
on,
come
one
from a line of
second.
men. I come from a line of
Hold
black
on,
women.
Angie.
Excuse me, host. I'm so sorry.
Let Dark Horse finish because I gotta wrap this up in a little
Okay,
bit.
I'm
Let
so
Dark
sorry.
Horse
Go
finish.
ahead.
Okay.
No, when there was a history conversation going on, I believe everybody was in agreement that women at a certain time were not feminine enough, and it was co-opted, taken over, and done better. That's what I heard.
Okay, but baby, you are hearing from different sides of the room. The only person who can speak for themselves is me. The thing is that if as long as I'm not sitting over here saying the things that I'm saying to defend or offend any other person, is totally out the ordinary. Do I agree with anybody sitting over here trying to be in competition within anybody? No, because the first person who should be in competition is with self. That's what we're here to live and that's what we're here to live and unalive for. The thing is that people live off of social media. People live off of each other because of validation, because they look for that to lean on and cater on or to pander to another person, or especially to another sex or gender. The thing is that, like I said, I don't sit over here and look for validations, rather if it's men and women, because at the same time, when I walk down the street, I don't I get the compliments and stuff, because I get the compliments from mostly majority of women, because at the end of the day, as much as I look up to the women who have lifted me now, it's the same women who I have always uplifted too, as well, especially young black girls too, because I'm a bus driver. So therefore, the thing is that I don't sit over here and try to center myself into other people to what they got going on.
But that's the thing. You are censoring. I never said
I'm
Angie.
not censoring, honey.
No. I literally was talking about collectively in general, and you stopped me to cut me off and say, "Well, I don't do it." So you are censoring. You literally you censor and say what Angie don't do, what Angie do, and that's it. No one even said Angie name. That's the crazy part. And for
Tara,
you to
what
just
you
say you
feel,
not, no, you no, you
what
don't
you're
even see how
failing
you're
to
censoring.
realize
It's
is that
crazy.
you're
No,
really
you
getting
don't realize that
emotional
you're
right
censoring
now
yourself.
because
No. See,
something
you
that
keep saying
happened to
I'm
you outside
emotional
of
to
TikTok that you're
dismiss
sitting
what
over
I'm
here, you're
saying.
projecting to
No, I know
strangers.
Hold on,
gaslighting.
Angie. Hold
We're
on,
not
cause
hear it. So you're
that's
trying to keep
crazy.
no. You're gonna keep saying
You're
I'm being
tap dancing.
emotional to
You're tap
minimize
dancing.
myself
Hold
while
on,
you're
Angie.
censoring
Let her
yours.
finish.
Because
No, because
Angie
what she's
can't
not gonna do
stop.
is sit over
Because
here
Angie think the conversation is about fucking Angie. It goes
because
to
I'm
what?
going to make.
No. It's all about. It's the fucking Angie show. Don't nobody fucking know you. I'm not talking about you. That's crazy. But I'm emotional and I'm going to be minimized and I should be dismissed because I can't talk about these things. I need to go talk about problematic men, but I can't talk about the misogyny in the trans community. Oh, because what? Angie said so? That's fucking crazy.
And that need to go to like being emotional. That is that you want to talk about the comparison. Who else does that when we're talking? When women
Men.
are talking, that's the first thing. Oh, you're being emotional. That's strange. You go into the same tactic that the men do, but you can't understand how it feels for women who have been marginalized, and you know what it feels like to experience misogyny, but you don't want to talk about it and want to talk about how deep it is and how certain parts of misogyny you can't relate to, so you don't understand or don't care about. It's insane to me. And it's crazy because we talked about all these things. Everything got laid out and it's like we walking it back. Go ahead, Dark Horse, because I got to end it because it's late. I have to
No,
end
I
it.
was just gonna say it's fine. I was just gonna say that the Danielle was yelling, and no cis woman up here said she was emotional. Angie kept over talking, interrupting repeatedly, and it's the I'm sorry, just to go do it again, like every time, or what have you. But don't clock that. Don't say nothing about that. But you comfortable enough though to say Tara being emotional though.
As a way to shut her
It's
up.
weird. It's weird. It's weird behavior, but we don't go for it no more, right? But that's because we've been working with these men, and we realize that shit that they say again is a way to divert the conversation. We're gonna stay on topic. We said what we said, and I find it real strange too to keep saying that this is a term of endearment, but I don't use it.
Wait, who's the man?
It's a term of endearment,
No,
but
she
I
not
don't use it. That's what
Cause
I'm
baby, you
saying.
look like a motherfucking man. You dumb, dirty, troglodyte looking ass bitch. You are a motherfucking human.
Oh,
Fuck is you talking about, bitch? You look
baby.
motherfucking start
Stop
a Kroger's
that.
for a damn living, bitch. You could not
Yo.
motherfucking step with me into nappy force. You motherfucking hair, bitch. Get your shit braided back and
Yo.
put a
The
wiggle, bitch.
nappy 4C hair. Oh, not the
Yo.
anti-blackness.
I wanted some of
Oh
what
my
they were saying. I
god.
wanted some of it to be recorded so when I play it back, because that person was also the person who
And Danielle
said,
said, yes, read down. Danielle wanted to say it the whole time. And that's what it is. Y'all don't have to come up here and fake for us and clap at that. Angie, like, y'all, why y'all come up here and fake the whole time if that's what y'all really wanted to say? So that's why it's disingenuous to keep having these conversations, Mia, because that's what you really feel. And all three of y'all disagreed about it in the
"Oh
comments.
yeah, they all
So
agreeing
that's what,
about it."
because that's what you really felt the whole time. You over here playing in our face like the men do, coming up here covert and lying only to call us bitches in the end.
And
We
then
know y'all don't like us,
talk
so I
about
was
black
I was right the
features.
whole fucking
Yeah.
time.
Hmm.
I was right the whole fucking time. You think we fish, you think our hair is nappy, you think we ugly, all the things. It's okay. That's the nigga in you.
You're right. That we was trying. We thought we was coming to a place, but y'all show us that one thing about it. That maleness, that male entitlement, gonna always come out, and that's why I say, of course, the males and men do it better. Y'all always been a better bitch. Y'all always have been a better bitch, and it shows because I'm gonna play two clips. Um, y'all are envious, right? You've been confused. You were played with and used and sent out on the motherfucking block to make somebody money who pretended like they was your father or your mother within the community. They used and abused you, got you dazed and confused, and put you on and inserted silicone in your body so that you can make them money. And you want to talk about somebody hair, and it's a black, you black. It's telling. I knew he was gonna come up out you. That's why I was saying we might as well, if we just had humans be humans, y'all niggas would be able to be exactly who you want to be without having to be confused. Cause it just came out. It literally just came out. And you read, we could, the only reason why I ain't go in, I'll let you show it, because hey, I don't want to lose my third page. But the way that y'all go about reading is always back to your typical roots of trying to disparage a woman because you envy women. That's what it is. You envy women. You're sick. Womb envy, envy. Y'all are sick. Y'all are sick about it. Y'all sit up and pillow talk with these men who like to play in your asshole and play in your mouth. And y'all sit up and y'all talk about how fishy women are and we're icky and it's icky and this is icky. And y'all try to imitate what you cannot be. Men have always been envious of women. They're envious of the resilience. They're envious of our ability to bring life. They're envious of our ability to shake back. They're envious of the shape of our bodies, the way our breasts are, the way our hips are, the way we are. No matter how it is, whether it's apple shape, square shape, it doesn't matter. They've always been envious of the idea of what we could do that they cannot do. That's why they create the laws that they create. And that's why y'all created the ballroom, so you can have a chance at the freedom that you see that you missing out on because you have to have these restrictive restraints. You're performing, and you got up here and you try to perform on Dark Horse because she beautiful. And you wish. That person, I wasn't, because I thought, because she contradicted herself, or they, whatever, since we're gonna be disrespectful. She was the one who said, you're not natural, you took hormones. You're not natural. It's in your genetics. Yeah, but you're not natural. You took hormones. You had to alter your body. You had to
What's
alter yourself.
what's
Yeah, I wasn't, I
disappointing?
wasn't, I
Oh,
wasn't, I wasn't insulted. Just so you guys know. Like I said, I prefer if you like stay on topic when it comes to me. It got to be something like a little bit of truth in it. For the best like reads to work, it got to be some truth in it. But like me being ugly, that's not gonna work. And you being white tea, talking about I got 4C hair, that's not an insult. Like you have to realize where the insults lie, right? And that's not it. You got to dig like really, really deep. I don't know if anybody's going to find any info on TikTok for me, but that's not it, ma'am. Not at all.
And go ahead, Prince. I'm gonna play this clip real quick.
I just want to say like how disappointed I am. Number one with the reads, because okay, insulting us in that way, you're insulting the women in your family. Just so we're clear on that, it's not a read. It's very much projection. And honestly, and still, I'm also disappointed because the resources are there and y'all are just choosing to stay ignorant at this point. You don't want to lose any access or proximity to a privilege above the women that you think is beneath you. So this is why the conversation won't go anywhere. Y'all won't be satisfied until it's too late and you're the last ones on the train. But hey, we're bitches, right? We're 4C, we're emotional. We're so emotional, but y'all can't even see the end of what's in store for you because you're so caught up with your head up your ass. But okay, and I'll end there.
And another thing too, because Angie is still going about the looks, and this is another thing too. When it comes to trans women, especially like those women up here who is pretending, who are narcissistic, everything is about their being affirmed in how they look. They want to be able to pass as cisgender women. Everything is about looks. Everything is about how they can have access to men. They're obsessed with it. It's nothing real. Everything is surface. They do not care about anything else. They want the ability to be able to pass. And one of the highlights of their life is feeling like they look better than a woman who was born a female human. They want to be able to say that, oh, I got this body or I got this face and I look better than a cisgender woman. That's what their excitement is. They're in competition. They're in competition with cisgender women. They're in competition with each other. It's all about them being able to have access to being praised and glorified by men because they are so feminine and they have the bodies and they have the face and it look real, don't it? Because they're not real, they're not genuine, and you know they're not genuine because you know somebody who's going through a mental crisis and do not know how to deal with that is not going to be able to dig deep. That's why everything is about the outward look. Because for them to be trying to talk about Prince or talking about Dark Horse and they sit up on Auntie Waters live is next level. Next level. They sit in that lady face every day in and day out. And you want to talk about somebody, y'all got to stop trying to talk about people and their looks. Y'all are embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Y'all got to stop. But I want to play what envy sound like.
These stupid ass questions. Trans women are not women. Okay. Prove it. They don't belong in women's sports. Prove it. Prove it. Because trans women are male. That's not proving it. Give us trans women females. Give us scientific proof. Trans women are females. Yes. Yes. Based on what? The fact that they're allowed to compete in female sports. So, am I white if I say I'm white? No, I didn't say that they were women because they were. I just asked you that. They said that they were women. I said, based on the fact that they're allowed to compete in women's sports, they are females. Now, are you going to prove that they shouldn't compete in women's sports, or are you just going to ask us a bunch of questions? Because they're biological males. Okay, and what is a male? A male? Yes. Male. A man, someone born with XY chromosomes, someone typically 9 times out of 10, right, okay, does not have a uterus, okay, right? Like the cervix, different, don't have breasts typically. Okay. So if I do have breasts or uterus, or I'm born with I'm born with something other than XY chromosome.
But that's it. But Social was on this panel too saying that trans women are female. They female. So when they get up here and they try to say that gender identity is different and they play these mental gymnastics and then they want to try to talk about that they are the original or want to talk about cisgender women and their hair and what they look like, always know what envy sounds like. Because if womanhood is so vast, it could be anything. Womanhood could be a potato. Why you got to be female? And then if you are female, why you trying to call us female as a way to separate us from being real women? When I've been telling y'all that men, when they get up here, they circle jerk with each other and they be wanting to finger pop each other. And when I be dragging them, y'all got to understand that's the next level. Men have always thought they could do better. When men be arguing with us about what we should do with our private areas, it's because they believe if they had access to those rich ball players, they would be getting big money from them. They've always believed that they could be the best bitches in the room. So I just want y'all to recognize what envy sound like. That's all I wanted y'all to recognize. And regardless of if they say they gotta win, they won. Like Dark Horse said, Dark Horse don't give a damn, and neither do I. Ain't nobody about to go back and forth with that. They delusional. They done lost they everlasting mind. But I want y'all to remember who started in here first. They said the thing that I've been saying. And then they got I guess the enema started working. Shit started leaking and they got irritable up here. And so they had to go ahead and leave out real hot for that date that they got tonight. So they was a little irritable and itchy up here. So then they got to getting real disrespectful. And they got it. You win. You win. You the baddest bitch painting up a room there ever was. You got it. But don't wear it out too much. Give it a break. Give that and your throat a break for a change. But if y'all got some last words so I can end it, go ahead.
You said it all. I appreciate it. I just wanted to say that um, it's not going to be what you think it is. After these conversations, I don't know if they leave feeling satisfied. But no one's womanhood was challenged or moved after this conversation. Not a one. Just so you know. But you keep working on yours though. All right,
Yeah.
that's it.
Keep it up. Cause we get it. We already get it. The men love a chick with a surprise. We know. We know how they are. They love each other. Homosociality. We've been talking about that. Go ahead, Tara.
I just want to say fuck you, Angie, and Joy question out in the comments. Love the live. Thank you, Mia.
No problem. And go ahead, Prince, if you want to say something last. And I'm gonna give this a break because these bitches exhausting. Like they not ready. They what they say. They niggas in a wig. It just is what it is. That is what it is. They have no empathy for women, no compassion. There's no sisterhood. No wanting to come to the table. The niggas, y'all win. Y'all can have each other. I don't give a fuck. Go ahead, Prince.
Yeah, no, it's like it is disappointing, but not surprising. Yeah, I think it is a good idea to retire the conversation, but I still want to say thank you for having these conversations because it gives a different perspective and different avenues to look at things when it comes to the patriarchy and the levels in which you have to go through to dismantle the whole system. And it's a lot of fucking layers, and it is exhausting.
And
But
we need to know what we up against, because I think for a long time, because of how women have been marginalized within the society and around and globally, we haven't been able to recognize how many people are envious of us and how many people want harm to us, and how and the harm is you want to replace us. You think you could do it better, and you want to replace us, and you want us to be the underclass. And that is misogynistic, and that is patriarchal thinking, and that's what's deep rooted in you. Angie was crashing out, and she looked over to her mom, who she has disdain for, and probably her sisters. None of them women are saved, because Angie is not saved. She not. Issue is that women didn't accept her, because another thing that we didn't get to talk about is that they want women to accept them as women so men can see them as women. That's what it boiled down to. That's it. That's all. So I'm gonna leave it with that. But all right, y'all.